Liberia's election commission announced a runoff between President George Weah and former Vice President Boakai on Tuesday. With 98.4% of votes counted, neither candidate had more than 50% required to win the October 10th poll. Weah had 43.79% and Boakai had 43.49%. Arab leaders cancel summit. Biden departs for Israel as planned as France calls for access of humanitarian aid in Gaza. KRA collects Kenya shillings 3.4 billion after waiving tax penalties, targets over Kenya shillings 51 billion by June 2024. The Meru senator criticizes Nakata for classifying Mira as a drug. He claimed Mira is a cash crop that supports many farmers and traders in his region. Moses Kuria wants to introduce fees for services offered at Huduma centers in Kenya. In sports, Harambee Stars settled for a 2-2 draw against Russia in their friendly match played at the Titanic Sports Complex in Antalya, Turkey. 2 first-half goals from Anthony Okumu and Masoud Juma were not enough to grant Kenya the win. For more updates, please subscribe to True Talk TV.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. This is True TV, and we welcome you to our news broadcast, and we hope that you will enjoy watching the news with us and tagging along. With me here in the studio is Mr. Jeff Mburu, Mzalendo, Mr. G, and Leo Nyabayo. Mr.
Mzalendo, Mr. G.
Why don't you start by saying or greeting the audience and tell them how you're faring on? Are you a Shuja or you are suffering to be a Shuja?
Thank you, Mr. for once again inviting me to the show. Good morning, panelists, wherever you are. I know Mburu is somewhere in Missouri. Good evening, or it's morning in Missouri. Yeah, it is 1:30 a.m. It is in Missouri, in Virginia, where I am. So I am a Shuja. We celebrate our Shujas. We celebrate people who have made a difference in our country. I think my all-time Shuja is Tom Mboya. That is the person who I really envy, and because of what he has really done to the people of Kenya. And may his soul continue resting in peace. Then we have Wangari Maathai. Those are the Shujas that I think Kenya needs to celebrate. And lastly, Odhiambo Mbai. Odhiambo Mbai is the one who wrote the chapter of devolution. This is somebody that is not celebrated at all, and we need to celebrate him on this particular day. I think these are some of the things that the government of William Ruto should do something to honor these great men and women who have served our country diligently. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mzalendo. I'll go straight to Mr. Jeffrey Mburu. Jeffrey Mburu is known to be among the people who are critics of Azimio. Jeffrey, good morning, Jeffrey. And where are you joining us from this morning, this afternoon, and this evening? I think, Mr. Jeffrey, you're muted, but I think now you should be good.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm joining you from Missouri, St. Louis, and I believe we're gonna have a wonderful show because we are well balanced in this show today. Thank you very much, our viewers. You are all our Shujas. Thank you, and you're most welcome.
Thank you, Jeffrey, and you well said that we're well balanced. In the studio with us are the diehards of one Raila Amolo Odinga, Mr. G, and Mr. Leo Nyabayo. These are the people that even if you cut their blood, it will be flowing none other than Raila Amolo Odinga. Mr. G, where are you watching us from this morning or this evening? And good morning. Do you feel a Shuja under the able leadership of William Samoei Ruto, or you feel still that you are under the leadership of illegitimate government? And if you feel that you are under the leadership of illegitimate government, is it true that your patron is now under siege under the leadership of one William Samoei Ruto? Mr. G.
Thank you, Mr. Messi. Morning. Right now, I think it's 8:36 in Mombasa, Kenya, and we are good. Even though I cannot say that I'm a Suja in Ruto's government, my only Suja man that I know is Raila Amolo Odinga, and that's the only person that I trust and I believe in him. Those other things we will talk later. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. G. Well said, Mr. G. It's interesting that you say your only Shuja is Raila Amolo Odinga.
Thank you, Mr. G. Well said, Mr. G.
Your Shuja is under stable, under the stable leadership of William Samoei Ruto. Mr. Leo,
Mr. Leo,
what do you think? Are you feeling a Shuja today? Are you happy? Are you proud? Or are you miserable?
Are you feeling a Shuja today?
You're a Shuja in,
you're not a Shuja in this government? Or are you miserable that you're a Shuja in, you're not a Shuja in this government?
Thank you so much, Mise. I'm joining you from the Horn of Africa. That is in the city of Aden in Mogadishu. I just want to maybe take you back and tell you, when we talk of the Heroes Day or the Shuja, we are basically reflecting on those heroes who sacrificed and did something special for this country. And the first Shujas that were celebrated are those people who fought for our independence, specifically not only the Mau Mau. We were celebrating them because they fought the colonial government, a government that was oppressive on Africans. My second Shujas, the current Shujas in Ruto's government, are those people who are opposing and are fighting Ruto's government, because currently Ruto is oppressing Kenyans, doing the same thing that was done by the colonial government. So anybody who is opposing Ruto, anybody who is against Ruto rule, anybody who is against Kenya Kwanza should be celebrated as a Shuja, the same way we celebrate the Mau Mau, because they have no difference with the Mau Mau who fought the colonial government. And just the same way the colonial government were defeated by the Shujas. So I would like to encourage the current Shujas that they are also going to defeat the current colonial government. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. The studio is hot here, and I knew it was gonna be hot because having two diehards of the former prime minister in the studio, it wasn't going to be easy. But I know Mr. Mburu will come up and he's gonna even the ground and quash Mr. Leo's allegation that or claim that the only Shujas are the people who are opposing William Ruto's government. I hope that Mr. Mburu, as you're preparing to come on, you're going to demystify what Mr. Leo and Mr. G are misleading the public. But I know they are not misleading the public, they are educating the public, and we are here, as they say, an iron sharpens another iron. So, Mr. Geoffrey, what is your take tonight? A lot has been said. We have seen Wafinya Ndeti being highlighted and trending. Do you think she's trending the right way? And we have also seen this Kericho Kericho heroes. I don't know if they are Shujas, we can call them Shuja. I don't know, Mr. Geoffrey, alongside what the rest of the panelists have said, what's your take tonight? You're on mute, so if you can unmute yourself.
Mr. Mise, thank you for the opportunity. I'll start with what Leo has just said, that the people who are opposed to the Ruto's government should be celebrated as Shujas, just like those who were fighting the colonial government. But I would like to compare what they are fighting and what the colonial fighters were fighting for. Remember the Mau Mau fighters, or the Shujas that we call today the Shujas because of how they fought for independence, they were not fighting to go and join the colonial masters. They were fighting to liberate themselves from the colonial rule. But today we see people who are saying that they are fighting the government, but they are on the list trying to join the same government that they call illegitimate. So I don't think anybody fighting the government of William Ruto qualifies to be called a Shuja, because you cannot be a Shuja by fighting what you want to join. Having said that, you have touched the issue of Wavinya Deti. She is fighting very hard as a leader to fight for, which is her right to do that. But Miss, I would like to take you back, and I want to show you how hypocritical our leaders are. Some years back, when Mavoko was not occupied, Wavinya Deti was still a leader in the same county. But you see, she didn't caution the people not to buy that land. And all the leaders in Ukabani knew that that land belongs to Portland and the government. So the fact that they did not caution the people at the right time, coming out now to cry together with the people, is what we call crocodile tears. And what makes the matters worse is, according to her statement, I have just realized some of these leaders use witchcraft even to rise in power. You had her statement. She said that we are going to use all means, or we have different ways of fighting those who we feel are oppressive to us. And she said we have the powers that we use on our hands, and there are others that we put on the back. So when you hear a leader encouraging people to use witchcraft against maybe the government, against maybe the judges, because it is not the government per se, it is not the Kenya Kwanza government which is fighting, it is the court which made a ruling that this land belongs to Portland and nobody should be there. And remember, and I would like you, Mise, to show this video. Some 7 years ago, Mr. Alfred Mutua made a statement cautioning the people. Yeah, you can play that video, cautioning the people not to buy that land. That time, not many people who had occupied the land, but Kenyans, they don't listen. They don't want to be cautioned. They do things brightly. They don't even do.
I direct that.
Yes, put that video.
I direct that all those occupying the land to vacate. There are never any squatters in the land, and the people who are there right now calling themselves squatters were recently imported to justify land grabbing. The land is not and has never been for sale. Therefore, anyone who has purchased parcels of the land should consider themselves to have been conned. I advise them to report to the police. I urge EACC to move swiftly and fully investigate the attempted grabbing of the land. We urge the Commission to investigate all elected leaders suspected to be involved in the attempted grabbing, including Mavoko MP, Honorable Patrick Makau, among others. There has been no planning and or subdivision undertaken or approval given by my government for the said land. The Machakos County government has not approved any development, including fencing of the land, and therefore any buildings, including fences constructed, are illegal structures. The cancer of corruption, theft, and land grabbing, even checked, will destroy Kenya forever. We have to put our foot down and say enough is enough.
So, Miss, if I may ask, where was Wavinya Deti then? Because she was supposed to warn the people not to go and buy that land. But right now, she is crying all over. She is shouting all over, even telling people to apply witchcraft to fight with the government. That is the hypocrisy of the highest order. What I can ask Kenyans is be very careful when you are buying properties in Kenya. because we have a lot of corruption. Our leaders are corrupt, and most of those you see coming on the televisions crying all over, they are involved in hoodwinking innocent Kenyans. What I can say as my final remarks is that it is important that the government or the investigative agencies do investigation, and whoever is involved in lying, in deceiving Kenyans to buy that land, they should be arrested. Their properties should also be sold to compensate those who have lost properties. Because I believe most of those people who have lost properties, it is out of ignorance, it is out of not being informed what was going on, and they got the confidence from the government officials or from the leaders whom they believed should guide them. That is what I can say for now.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to welcome, I think, Mr. G, as I come to Mzalendo, and I just want to also mention that the people that Governor Mutua mentioned was among Patrick Macau, and as well as the Kalonzo Musyoka and Wavinya Ndeti were also mentioned on the same. So I was wondering, why is she now crying that things are not, like there is grabbing land, and yet she is one of the people that have been adversely mentioned. Mr. G, what's your take on this?
Thank you, Mr. Messi. I think on those issue about the names of maybe Kalonzo Musyoka, the Mavoko MP, those may be propaganda, because I don't think if those guys could have been participated in this thing, alafu baadaye they come out and they start castigating it. That can be that. We know how Macau always behave. No, the Mutua. We know how he always behave. He may just decide to mention those names for his own good, but I don't think if those people participated in corruption that have been going on in this thing. On the issue of Mavoko, I think Mavoko, even though I can agree some with what Mr. Mburu has said, those people who bought the land, they may have bought it by ignorance, without knowing what was happening. But I know that there's some billboards. I don't know if they were there from the beginning or with Mekwa Juzi, because those billboards, they are cautioning them. Ikiwaambia kwa this thing is not right. Ukinunua, you may end up losing your land. The billboards are there. But these people bought the land by ignorance. And about that ignorance, wakakuwa con. So the government, for me, I don't support what is doing right now, the move that is doing right now, because if at all, these people, they were conned and they were not aware of what is happening. Look at the speech that the Gachagua spoke on the day of inauguration, that day ambao alikuwa anaapishwa. The guy spoke a lot of things na akasema kwa in this government, people will not be mistreated. Even those ambao walikuwa wanakuwa evicted by the former government will not be evicted. Saa even ilikuwa inakuwa evicted last time. Meaning that these people, I think wangekuwa wangekuwa humanitarians at least. Wangefukuza watu wanakuwa nafukuza. Last time wakati our former president alikuwa anafukuza watu, we felt bad. Na tukasema hiki kitu isifanyike, usifanye watu hivyo, because people are being sent away. In fact, wanatumwa wakati mvua inanyesha, ndio nyumba zao zinabomolewa. Wananyang'anywa shamba, and remember people have invested a lot of money on those houses ambao they were being destroyed. The same thing is happening in Mavoko. So why is it that the guy who was speaking to come and defend these people, to come and defend people who are about their minorities, they are the same people who are destroying their lives? Look at the investment ambayo tumewekwa pale Mavoko. Even though tunaweza sema kuwa the land in your government, those people are not supposed to buy, but now they bought it. And the same Ruto few months ago alisimama akasema kuwa this government, it will call the owner of the land, in case mtu amenunua shamba na amejenga kwa your own land, he will call the land owner na atakuita wewe, you sit down and discuss and you agree on the way forward. But now they come out wanaanza ku destroy houses, wanataka kujua umenunua hii shamba umespend how much, mpaka wanavunja shule, they destroy even the churches. Mr. Messi.
Yeah, Mr. J, it's interesting that you mention about this being propaganda, possibly being a propaganda. I was just wondering that you know you've there are you trying to say that Mr. the MP for Kibwezi West, Vincent Kawaya, right? Who is asking that the leader, the core principle of Azimio la Umoja, to declare their interests in the Mavoko land, in the Portland land. Are you saying those are allegations? And number two, you also mentioned that this is propaganda, and whereas it's known that Mr. Patrick, among other 29 people, were actually the DCI was involved in investigating this matter. So are you trying to discredit the efforts of the DCI to have been involved as propaganda?
No, I say that as much as we know how this guy called Mutua behave, he may be bringing this issue up just for propaganda, for his own good, for his own need, for his own mileage. Kwa sababu, look at what these people are doing. The same way umesema kuwa maybe I should speak what is their interest on the Mavoko land. These people have come out to defend the people who are being affected. Watu ambao wamevunjiwa nyumba zao. So they are the leaders who have come out as their own leaders. In fact, Mavoko is a place where it's in the land of Kambani, whereby people ambao wako affected pale, most of them ni watu wa Azimio. So they just come out to defend these people. They are crying wakisema kuwa the government should stop destroying those houses. I think they should follow the right order. And following the right order, the same way as I said, he should call those people, sit down with these people, with these Portland people, and then they decide if they will compensate them. Because how much money have these people spent on those places? How much money have those people placed on those places to build those houses, to invest there in that land? There's a lot of money. So for you to rise up one morning and then you just destroy those houses, I don't think if that works.
Okay. As you take a glass of water, Nick, you've been quiet, and I don't know if I should let you go first or Leo Nyabaya before he disappears. So, Nick.
Maybe on just on what to emphasize.
Nick,
maybe just a minute. Oh, because I before I forget. Sorry, I know Mr. Nick is there, and I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. We are going to have this discussion. Maybe before I forget, Jeff had some things that we need to correct so that people, our listeners, don't get misled. Just to say a bit on the word Vinyanjeti, I just have to tell you people that number one, the East African Port Cement is a government entity. This land belongs to the government. The government exists for the benefit of the citizens. The government that we are having right now is planning to build affordable houses so that they can be built on the government land. So if those people who are in Mavoko, the Kambas, the Kisis, and whoever who is there, have decided to assist the government in building their own houses, I would expect the government to clap for them, because that land is lying idle. The minerals they are going to sell that land, they advertised it. So the only problem is that some few individuals have already gotten some money the same way other people in government do. But the greatest problem of land in this country is the president himself. People weren't grabbing land before, but people now are going to grab land. That is just a beginning. This trend is going to continue based on the precedence that was set by the president himself. You know, there is a land that belongs to the Kenya Airports Authority in Langata. And on this land lies a commercial hotel that belongs to one William Ruto called Western Hotel. Yes, he illegally acquired this land, but later on told us that, okay, I acquired this land illegally, but now KIA can talk to me so that I can be able to pay the land. Why couldn't they do the same to those people who are in Mavoko? Are they not Kenyans to go and negotiate with the Kenya Ports Authority and say that, okay, instead of demolishing our buildings, let us now have some talk so that we can be able to pay you. All of you are live and aware of the story of Yebei. Yebei's land was grabbed by the president. After that, what happened? He said, okay, I've grabbed the land. Instead of maybe taking it back, we'll have to negotiate now. I'll have to pay you. So what these citizens in Mavoko are doing is they're just following the footsteps of their president. The president told them that it is possible for you to get into somebody's land, build your structure, then negotiate later. I don't blame Wavinya Ndeti. Wavinya Ndeti is right. Initially, these people would not have invaded that land if William Ruto would not have shown them an example. If you compare the buildings in Mavoko and Western Hotel, which one is older? So it tells you who grabbed land first. Then lastly, William Ruto himself donated money to build a church in Mavoko. If the person who donated money to build a church in this land becomes the president, how stupid would you be to think that this place is illegal? If the president himself blessed and contributed money to build a church in a land that now they claim is illegal. So I just feel it is political, and these people, they want a section of the country to benefit from the government resources, while other section, they don't want to see them benefiting. What does
Kenya anatuuzia, tunajua ile account tuliweka pesa yetu, tunajua hata juzi, hata siku 5 hajaisha bado amechukua pesa zingine anatuuzia ardhi. Jamaa anaitwa Kiseri. Tunajua yeye, tunajua nyumba yake, tunajua ofisi yake, tunajua ile account tuliweka pesa.
So how do you now go ahead and start paying for a loan that was supposed to be paid by the investment you've put up? Some of us is actually a sacrifice. I'm a baker. Mimi napika keki. So whatever I was saving is what I was throwing here. Kidogo napika keki 2, 3, you put your money in here.
Hii ni dhuluma ambayo ni mbaya. Tumekaa kwa hii shamba tangu 2011. Na tukiwa hapa tulikuwa tuko kwetu. Hii shamba tuko na title deed.
Walikuwa nazunguka huku, the kanjos were coming for their hizo ndogo ndogo, like they're asking, do you have your letter? Yes, you present the approval. But now suddenly the same government that approved our structures that is bringing down our structures.
Wow. Nick. Leo.
You mute, eh?
Yeah, Leo.
Yeah.
Nick.
Yes.
Leo has made allegation as Kami a God's blessing, and he has made a lot of allegations against the president, and he has tried to indemnify the core principle of Azimio, Bwana Kalonzo Musyoka. What's your take in this, Nick? I mean, this is something that is on record. That many years ago.
This is something that is on record.
That many years ago, Alfred Mutua came out and warned the public, and he's on record. And if you allow me, it's important that we replay this so that as you speak.
I direct that all those occupying the land to vacate. There are never any squatters in the land, and the people who are there right now calling themselves squatters were recently imported to justify land grabbing. The land is not and has never been for sale. Therefore, anyone who has purchased parcels of the land should consider themselves to have been conned. I advise them to report to the police. I urge EACC to move swiftly and fully investigate the attempted grabbing of the land. We urge the Commission to investigate all elected leaders suspected to be involved in the attempted grabbing, including Mavoko MP, Honorable Patrick Makau, among others. There has been no planning and or subdivision undertaken or approval given by my government for the said land. The Machakos County government has not approved any development, including fencing of the land, and therefore any buildings, including fences constructed, are illegal structures. The cancer of corruption, theft, and land grabbing, even checked, will destroy Kenya forever. We have to put our foot down and say enough is enough.
Now, Nick, I want you to
Yes.
tell me, Alfred Mtua pronounced himself very clear. Number one, he advised the citizens that there is no land for sale, that there is an attempt to grab land that is actually not for sale, that was never for sale. He also had called the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to action. He also called the DCIO to action in investigating and bringing to to books the people who are masquerading as buyers and sellers of the land that is not supposed to be sold. Tell me, if the citizens continued from the time this warning was issued, how do we turn around and blame the government if already the citizens have been advised not to buy the land? And what did the Ethics and Corruption Commission do? What did the police do in terms of investigating? So I would like you to address those areas, Mr. Mzalendo.
Thank you very much, Mise, and allow me to say this first. Buying land in Kenya is a very rewarding investment, but it also involves some legal steps that you need to follow. Land has got a procedure. Number one, for the sake of our viewers out there, this is a very important information. Number one, identify that land of choice that you want to purchase. You've considered the location and you've also considered the ownership. Number two, go to the land registry and do something called a search. You will need a copy of that particular title deed, your ID, and the ID of the seller and a KRA PIN for the seller. Confirm any unpaid rates. These are land rates paid to the county government, either of Nairobi or Mavoko. In this case, it is Mavoko. Get the map and go to any local surveyor, somebody who has got the authority, not anybody, but a surveyor who has got the authority to check the demarcations of your land. That is very, very important. And those people in Machako, in Mavoko, checked the demarcation of the mother title of that particular property, they would have known that they are buying illegal land.
But in Zalendo,
Yeah.
I'd like you to address these issues because the citizens, perhaps I should play this again. The citizens say that clearly.
Kenya anatuuzia, tunajua ile akaunti tuliweka pesa yetu, tunajua hata juzi, hata siku 5 hajaisha bado amechukua pesa zingine anatuuzia ardhi. Jamaa anaitwa Kiseri. Tunajua yeye, tunajua nyumba yake, tunajua ofisi yake, tunajua ile akaunti tuliweka pesa.
So how do you now go ahead and start paying for a loan that was supposed to be paid by the investment you've put up? Some of us is actually a sacrifice. I'm a baker. Mimi napika keki. So whatever I was saving is what I was throwing here. Kidogo unapika keki 2, 3, you put your money in here.
Hii ni dhuluma ambayo ni mbaya. Tumekaa kwa hii shamba tangu 2011. Na tukiwa hapa tulikuwa tuko kwetu. Hii shamba tuko na title deed.
Walikuwa nazunguka huku, the kanjos were coming for their hizo ndogo ndogo, like they're asking, do you have your letter? Yes, you present the approval. But now suddenly the same government that approved our structures that is bringing down our structures.
So I wanted you to, the citizens have pronounced themselves that they have titles since 2011. So in 2011, in 2011,
let me cut you short because you
hang on. So before I need you to address, are we blaming, we are calling Ruto names and we are blaming Ruto, but the citizens have already pronounced themselves that this is an issue that started way back in 2011. It's important that we educate our viewers that not everything that we should blame the current president, or if anything, how is he involved in this matter that actually started way back before he was the president of the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you, Mise. Before I forget, nobody in that particular land has got a title. Those are hearsays. Otherwise, you'd have been seeing them flashing the title deeds. What that lady said clearly, that they have something called a share certificate. A share certificate is you're given when you own a piece of land somewhere, and the mother title still belongs to Portland Cement. What Ruto is saying is that the country has projected itself to industrial development. That land has been earmarked for industrial development, and the government has to push its agenda, and its agenda is to create as many industries as we can. So the industrial park that is being proposed by the government of William Ruto is indeed part of his agenda. So no, I don't think that those said squatters or landowners of Mavoko can come in between. Having said that, the county government of Mavoko, under the leadership of Governor Wavinya Ndeti, should have found an alternative way to relocate those particular people, because she seems to be hurt so much about this particular incident. And it's unfortunate, Mese, that the children are going to come back home. There is El Nino crisis looming, and people don't have their homes, a place that they used to call home 10 years ago. These are innocent children. They need to find a place very, very urgently. And that is work of the county government. Pushing blame to the national government is irrelevant. Right now, we should be seeing Wavinya Ndeti finding an alternative shelter for these particular affected individuals. You saw that there are more than 5,000 people. That is the work of the county government to find alternative for its citizens. She should protect the people that she governs. And that is very, very important. And to the government of William Ruto, we need to see EACC moving with speed. These politicians should not make, the issue of demolition a political game. Raila Odinga once demolished houses, and it was the same scenario. Uhuru Kenyatta also demolished houses. It was the same thing. And these houses which were being demolished in, for example, along Thika Road where Raila demolished houses, that was marked for roads. People build on road reserves. So, and the government needs to project itself and build roads. So what do? You demolish those houses. If they are built in a road, then there is no alternative. Politicians should not rush into these particular scenes, especially when there is a legal allocation. And it is clear that this is an illegal allocation. This land belongs to Portland Cement. There's no secret about it. It belongs to the factory. Then you build, you come there as Leo, that you've been given some land and you put up a structure that you've lived here for 10 years. And yet you don't have a title deed. Yet you didn't pay the 524 24 Kenyan shillings just to do a simple search. A simple search for land costs 524 Kenyan shillings. That saves you 20 million of investment.
Amazing.
Yeah, Mr.
Thank
G.
you very much, Zalendo. I think you really.
I think you really.
Mise. Okay, sorry for my bad manners. Mzalendo should.
Oh, sorry. There was an echo, and I was trying to find out. And Leo, I'm coming to you. Zalendo, that's so good, but I do see Mr. G as Leo is preparing to come in. Mr. G, what is really burning you? Is it the fact that it has been said that we should not point fingers to the sitting government, that the sitting government has a mandate to propel and project and continue with this agenda of installing the, of the dream of realizing the dream of industrial park. What is it that is burning that you have to
Okay.
speak?
Okay, my issue is with Mr. Mzalendo. He raised an issue concerning those guys who build the houses in Mavoko. I know the way he's speaking, I think he's trying to implicate that those guys, they are fools. They don't know what they are doing. Because I believe those people, before they started to build those houses, because we have seen houses even more than 10 million, more than 15 million, more than 20 million people set up those houses there. How can somebody just stand up one day in the morning without even thinking, without even trying to analyze anything, and just set up a house of 50 million or set up a house of 50 million without even thinking and knowing that this land is not mine? And then I just wake up one morning and just build a house. How can that be possible? I think Mzalendo is misleading us, even though I know that the land is for Portland. Okay. But before these people started building those houses, I think there is some payment that was made for them to own that place where they were building. And now the problem is, as I said earlier, that it may be because of ignorance. They never knew that this thing will be taken away one day. But now, because of the principle of this current government, these are the guys who say that we are not sending people out of their land. We are not destroying or demolishing houses of the people. We will sit with them, we'll discuss with them, we'll plan for either if it's vacation, if it's what do we call it?
Eviction.
Eviction, yeah. If it's eviction, we will plan for these people where we will take them. But now, how comes they just wake up one morning alafu wanaanza kuvunja nyumba za watu, even without thinking that this person has spent more than 20 million, more than 50 million in that place. Okay. The land, we know it is for Portland, but at least these people should sit down with these guys and then look for another alternative. You spoke about the issue of Raila destroying houses on the Thika Road. Were those people compensated or they were not compensated?
Okay, I think I'm gonna bring in Leo, and then Leo can respond as Victor. Welcome to the studio. And those
respond as
viewers.
Victor, welcome to the studio.
I think Leo.
Thank you.
And those
Leo, let me mute.
Thank you.
I think Leo, I can.
You can hear me, okay?
Hang on, Leo. I just wanted to encourage those who would like to join the studio. The link is on the comment section there. Come and tell us what you think about. Victor, welcome to the studio. It's good to see you. We are always here. Follow us on YouTube and on Facebook, and so that you can get a notification whenever we are coming live. The debate is hot, and the people, there's meal, there are guns blazing here, defending their patrons and saying that this illegitimate government of William Ruto is the one that is for blame, because they are not protecting the hustler by not demolishing, even though the hustler has not followed the law to in acquiring the piece of land. So, Mr. Leo, you are responding. What is it that you want to tell Mr. Mzalendo? I hear all of you saying that Mr. Mzalendo is misleading the public. Can you please ask Mr. Mzalendo to educate the public as opposed to misleading the public? Leo.
All right, Mise.
Leo.
Yes. Oh, you've interrupted me severally. This is what I want to say. Just in response to Nick. Nick have talked of the demolition that happened on Thika Road when the retired Prime Minister Raila Odinga was the Minister of Roads and Public Works. The houses were demolished to pave way for Thika Road. We can see the Thika Road, and even those people whose houses were demolished can be able to appreciate. Before that, these guys were compensated and they were given legal vacation notices. Uhuru vacated people from a sewer line, that Kariobangi and the Ruai sewer line. This land had been grabbed by one, the land grabber, and used human there as a shield so that he can be able to maybe try to plead on behalf of them. But this land, these people are being relocated there because it is a land reserved for sewer line. You people who've been in Nairobi knows what a sewer line is and how hard it is to stay without these sewer lines and the diseases like cholera that can be aftermath. But when you look at this land in question, the Portland, they are removing these people there so that they can resell the land. They are not going to do any development in that land. They want to resell it. It has been advertised, meaning you are telling these people that you should not build here. We want to bring other people to do the same thing that we are telling you not to do. Does it make sense? Secondly, we are faulting them for failing to give them the notice. Yes, the government has ruled that the land belongs to East African Portland Cement. The same court did not give a notice or a vacation order that allows the police or the owner to go and vacate people. So, Mise, I'm glad you are a lawyer, you are an attorney here. You will be able to tell us. I've presented a case, and the court has ruled that, okay, this land belongs to me. Is it in order for me to come back to the same court and ask for some orders to go and evict the people who are happening that are not meeting? Maybe they are raising some eyebrows. That is why we talk of double standard. And what is happening is inhuman, and it is being done by the government that swore to protect lives and property of Kenyans. A government that has promised to build affordable houses to Kenyans, but they are destroying the houses that have already been built by these Kenyans. So how then will they be able to give you houses if they are destroying the houses on their own? Must be brought down so that they see sense of getting government houses. Thank you.
Well,
Listen,
okay. Maybe Mr. has stepped out for a while. Mr. G, you can respond to that.
yeah, just not responding, but just to add something on what Mr. Leo has said. You know, the government, as they started to evict these people, the following day, I think it took only 2 days, they were advertising for sale, and then they told us that the advertisement will give favor first for those people whose house have been destroyed. So our question is, if you come to my own house, I have built using maybe 20 million, and then you destroy it, alafu you bring a letter saying that on the next selling, I'm the first one to be considered. So why could you just first of all call me? We sit down and discuss on this issue, and then we agree. If you want me to buy again, we agree on what to do. Not to come to jump in and then you destroy my house. Alafu baadaye you bring in a letter advertising for the land to be sold again. Alafu about that selling, unasema kuwa you'll consider me as the first person before you sell to another person. Which logic is being used here?
I think we are missing the point because this issue has been in court for a very long time. It is not something that the residents didn't know and were not represented in court. They were in court and they lost the case. So you should be aware that this is something that Portland Cement didn't just walk to court to get eviction orders. They have been in court, they lost the case. As residents, they have not appealed. And if there was any appeal, we should have seen it. So sometimes there is the government and there is the law. All right, there is the judiciary. That's another arm of government. So if the judiciary has said that the allocation should be the squatters who are occupying the land should return the land to the owners, then that is what should be done. You can either appeal to the Supreme Court or any other court, but if you have not done that, then you should not blame anybody. So I think the first thing is, Mr. G, if I was one of the residents, then I would be running to court to get an injunction. So that did not happen. So let us not talk about things that probably we are assuming. Let us stick to the facts. This issue has been in court for a very long time, and nobody has appealed against the eviction. And another thing, there is no title deed. Whatever is there are fake, or if it is a title deed, then it's a fake title deed. Otherwise, we would have seen all the residents flashing their title deeds that they have been allocated land. And Mr. Leo, if government compensated people who had built on road reserves, that normally happens, and it happens everywhere. Because first, when you buy land and the government feels that they need to do an expansion of a particular road, then they can buy your property. They can buy your property. It is allowed that they can buy your property and push you or give you alternative land elsewhere. For example, if a particular area is marked for development or a railway line, and this development they don't just come overnight. It is a projection that the government has. Where you come from in Siaya, the government might be projecting to build a rice factory or a sugar industry in that manner. And the land that is ideal for the sugar industry is the land that is occupied by your ancestors. You will be forced to move, my friend. You will move because government needs to expand, and you'll be given compensation and alternative land. That is how government works. On that note, maybe Mburu, you've been quiet for quite some time. You can add something on that.
Yes, Mr. Muzarendo. I wanted to say something. First of all, Leo mentioned me as someone who is trying to mislead the public because he said that the Portland belongs to the government. But I want to say this. It is only in Kenya, whereby somebody can see land somewhere, lying somewhere, then enter and start to subdivide and start selling. That is impunity of the highest order. Whether it belongs to the East Africa Portland or the government, nobody has the permission just to see property, enter there and start sharing among the people. And that is why I said, anybody who has been involved in hoodwinking innocent Kenyans should be arrested. And not only that, Mr. Leo and Mr. G, they have really spoken like politicians. Because a politician will see this a cow, but you try to convince people this a goat. And sometimes people buy that as a fact. But I want to say this. This case has not started in Kenya Kwanza government. This case started a long time ago. It's only that the case has just been concluded. And we say this, Mr. Leo and Mr. G, in law, ignorance has no defense. So if you are caught in the wrong side of the law, you face the consequences everywhere across the world. So you cannot say if a property is stolen, people should sit down and negotiate. It doesn't work like that. And I want to inform you about what happened in Thika Road and other parts that people had built on road reserves. The people who were compensated are those who had acquired land legally, but the government proposed that the land should pass there. But anybody who had built illegally in the land, in the road reserves, was not compensated. If you are not aware, around 95% of people who lost properties are from my community. And we don't complain. We don't come here trying to tell people, you know what, the government did this or Raila Odinga did this, because that is what he was supposed to do as the Minister of Infrastructure and Roads. In the same way, when you buy property without following the due diligence, you should know that one day, the law will get up with you. Not only that, Mr. Leo, you have tried so much to pull the president into all these skirmishes and shenanigans. But I want to tell you this. In law, we say that someone is innocent until proven guilty. By who? Not in the court of public opinion, but in the court of law. whereby a judge has pronounced this person guilty or innocent. As far as I know, the president, in all those cases you have mentioned, is innocent because he has not been pronounced guilty by the court of law. In the event that the court will rule one day that the hotel where it's built is not supposed to be there, it will be demolished because nobody is above the law, whether the president, prime minister, or whoever you think you are. That is why you have seen even the president appearing in court before. It's only that right now, as the president, he might not. But if he has stolen anything, it is not legal to come here and tell us, and just that is subjecting somebody to unfairness. We wait until the case has gone to conclusion, then we can say Leo is innocent. Treat other people the way you would like to be treated. I want to say this as I conclude on that matter of the
Yeah,
Portland.
so that we can bring in Victor.
Yes.
He's been waiting for a while.
I want to say this as I conclude on that matter of Portland. That yes, I sympathize so much with those innocent Kenyans that had to lose properties of billions of money because of poor leadership. The leadership in that area, they knew very well. And they were even advised that they were not supposed to sell that property. People were told, you are not supposed to buy this property. But people kept buying until that I heard even 5 days ago, people were still buying. Why? Ignorance. But ignorance has no defense. Do the president give eviction orders? No, he does not have such power. Eviction orders are given by the court of law. Do the president give the order for demolition? No. Those orders are given by the court of law. Therefore, let us not drag the president. What the president or the government does is to enforce the court orders through the police, to supervise, to see what the court has pronounced has been done. That is the work of the government. And that is how the government operates.
Well said, Mr. Mburu. Well said. You have talked about separation of power. Victor, as you come in, Mr. Mburu, you've really helped Mr. Nyabayo and Mr. G to understand that there is separation of power from the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. So I hope that as you educate them, as you continue educating them, you will also help them not to be radicalized to unnecessarily defend their patrons. Mr. Victor, welcome to the welcome to the show. Glad to have you on board. We wish that you will be joining the show every day. Subscribe, like, so that you can get a notification whenever we go live. Victor, there are many issues that have been, that we have discussed here. I've seen someone saying public land should be taken back to the public. Public land belongs to the public. Period. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I'll just weigh into that issue of public land belongs to the public, and that is true. I will say recently we have had two decisions. One is the most recent one. It's called Torino by the Supreme Court. Na kuna nyingine, another one called Dinner Management. It agrees with that fact. Public land goes back to the public. If some land was preserved for public purpose, it will remain for public purpose. On to this issue of Mavoko. Number one, I think as a country, when I was growing up, there was something called tabia mbaya. We need to desist from tabia mbaya. Tabia mbaya in the sense that, one, we are not disciplined and we are not honest with one another. In the issue of Mavoko, on or about 2014, there was a very big billboard that was saying This is public land. Personally, I passed there in around 2015 and I saw it there. This is public land. It is not fit for sale. A very big billboard. Number two, I've seen people having big houses there, and you wonder how they came onto that land. There's a cooperative called IMI Lukenya. It was formed around 2014. They have submitted their papers to court. They were saying that they were allocated the land in around 1980. And that, you ask yourself, if a corporation was formed in a society was formed in 2014, and then they are claiming they were given the land in 1980, you are like, how did that happen? Now, as to the issue of those people who are there, one, those people in a very honest platform, they never did their due diligence. Why? Because if you're given a mother title of a specific land, as they were claiming, they would have done a search. No one there has produced a search that I went to the lands registry, I did this search, and it showed this. None of them has produced that. Number two, transfer. The property has never been transferred to anyone. Huh? All those people there, they don't have a title. They're talking about a mother title. EPZ has its own mother title. IMI Lukenya, I don't know the cooperative name very well, but they are claiming they have another title. We have seen letters being flied left, right, and center. There's another one by the Machakos the then Machakos County Governor, that was Alfred Mutua, to the DCI, blah, 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 and all those things. But the key thing we are going to ask ourselves, did these people do their due diligence? If anyone whose property was brought down can come forth and tell us, I did an official search, I paid stamp duty, there was a transfer, they cannot point out to such. Again, if you see all those people, they are victims as they claim, but you see ignorance of the law. It's like today you are being arrested for stealing an egg in town and you are taken to court. You'll tell the court, yes, I was hungry. But then it's theft. You see, it's theft. You cannot tell the court I was hungry and I had to steal an egg, and I didn't know that, and that taking this egg is wrong. That's ignorance. We need to be telling each other the truth as a country. If that land belonged to East African Portland Cement, and I've seen quite a number of us have already said that it belongs to the East African Portland Cement, but people bought it as a result of some other con people who are there and blah, blah, blah. So the government should protect them. Number one, I will say this. There are very many mechanisms of protecting Kenyans against fraudulency and conmanship. The procedures are there by law. They are not attributed to the president. They are not attributed to the land registry. If these people can say, really, we did our due diligence before constructing the properties, they will be entitled to compensation by the government. Again, the other day, I think it was on Thursday, Senior Counsel Kalonzo Musyoka and his firm went to court to get the injunctive orders, as I've seen people talk about. They went there, but unfortunately, they never prosecuted they never prosecuted the injunction that they needed. They wanted to prosecute the main, and they forgot the injunction, so they were not granted the orders that they wanted. You see, and so if these politicians wanted to help their people, this matter has been in court for 5 or more years. They have never gone to court. They just came in recently, and now they are saying that our people are being chased away. No. If they had the interest of the people at heart, they would have been there. And I still maintain my position. If anyone can come forth and tell us that I did as such. I went to the lands registry and confirmed that the title being owned by Amy Lukenya was genuine. Let them come forth. These people went to the offices of that cooperative or society. They were shown land. There were surveyors there on point. But there's no one who can say, I have this letter that I wrote to the Ministry of Lands to give us the position of this land. And I really want to thank you for the platform, and that is all I have to submit on that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Vic. Thank you very much, Victor, for that elaborate and very informative. We had dwelled a bit on how to get property in Kenya. And I've seen Leo raising his hands. Leo, I think you've got something burning.
Leo, I think you've got something burning.
Issue.
Yeah.
Issue.
Yeah, thank you, Nika. I just wanted, let us make it clear. I know we talked of this and we're going to the next thing. The issue that is in contention is not whether the land is legally owned by the Aini Kenya or not. We all know the land doesn't belong to those people. We know the land belongs to the Portland. So the issue that people are contending here is the president himself saying, once such a thing happens, we are not going to do inhuman demolition. What we are going to do, we are going to negotiate, because this land belongs to that cement company. The cement company is held in trust by the Kenyan government. The people who have invaded the land are also Kenyans who are landless, and the government is planning to build them some houses because they don't have houses. So in this position, the government was supposed to do what is called prioritize. What is the priority? Yes, this land belongs to the cement, which is also a Kenyan corporate, but they are not going to use this land for the company baby activities. This land they are planning to sell it for houses. Why can the government sort it out with these people instead of demolishing a 20 million worth building? They just pay for the land and maybe they're being told, okay, the person who paid for the land was the wrong one. Now pay the right person, then continue building. That was easier. So what people are really complaining, why are you seeing politicians there? They are complaining the nature in which these people were driven away. They are not saying that the government is taking away their land. They are complaining
We are losing Mr. Leo.
Away. That is the only thing that is contented. We all know, even those politicians know the land doesn't belong to those guys. Those guys innocently bought the land from the brokers, but now the government didn't.
Yeah, Mzarendo, as Leo checks his internet, yeah, we had lost you, sir. We didn't hear what you were saying. At least we heard you halfway.
Oh, sorry. I think maybe it was my microphone, not even the internet. So I was saying that the problem that is there is not about who owns the land or who doesn't own the land. That one is in the public domain. The land belongs to the Portland Cement. But now here is the situation whereby the Portland Cement and the people staying there all belong to the government of Kenya. So now, and is a national affordable house. Can you, those politicians you see there, they are not saying that the government is taking away people's land. They are simply saying the government has decided to oversee people being demolished inhumanly. That is the complaint. Yes, the land is not theirs, but must you drive them away kama wanyama? And specifically, it is coming out from a government that rose in power by promising people that serikali haitawahamisha watu kiunyama. So how comes hiyo serikali tena imeanza kuhamisha watu kiunyama, bali sio umiliki wa shamba? Lalamika kuwa serikali inafaa kuko na unafahamisha hawa watu, basi tafuta njia mbadala, njia ya heshima, ngoja mvua iishe na watu waweze kwenda. I'm sorry, I'm losing it.
Anyway, Leo, let me invite Mr. G, because your network is really letting you down at some point. Let me invite Mr. G to tell us more about this issue, whereby you are saying that people can grab land, and that should be the order of the day in Kenya. If you grab land, the government should find for you alternative ways.
No,
maybe before Mr. G comes,
I really want to understand your logic, because if we allow this to happen in our country, and remember, the UN has said that land grabbing is a crime against humanity. There's some land that is meant for agriculture and food security. So if you go and occupy that particular land, that country will not have any food for its people. So you really need to think.
Let me come in before Messi.
All right, Mr. G, before you forget.
No, don't play the video first. Don't play the video first, Messi.
No,
there's a problem here that we need to address first.
Yes,
let's address this issue first, because something that Mzalendo is talking about, I think, is a propaganda. I have listened to what Leo spoke, and Leo at no point has he said that he wants people to grab land in Kenya. So what Leo is saying is that this government itself said that in case such situation happens, I have listened to what Victor said very well, and you guys, in fact, we are all in one page, in the same page. The problem is that the same government alluded that in case somebody comes into your land, they will not evict him forcefully. At a white and really, you sit down and discuss. So for us, we are asking questions. If a president who is Ruto can state those statements, what's happened right now? Leo has said that the government will know very well it is for Portland. And for
Mr.
me,
G,
and
the president is not above the law. That is the law.
Let me finish before coming, Mr. Mzalendo.
Yes.
We know there is the law. We know very well that this land does not belong to these people. And that's why I brought in a question first and say that, do you believe or do you think that these people are just fools, just wake up one morning and to take more than 20 million, more than 50 million to invest in that land? I think there's something that they did first before they did. Listen to what Victor said. Victor said that way back in 2015, 2016, he passed through that land and he saw a billboard. On the billboard, Ilkuna State Kuwa, this land is not for sale. That is what Victor said. And for us, we are saying it's true. The land, it belongs to Portland. And the same way Guru said, he said that maybe ignorance may be at play, of which we agree. These people may be ignorant, and they bought the land ignorant without knowing what will happen. Now, our question is, if the president, it's not that we are forcing the president in, but he's the same person who alluded that in case such thing happens, there will be a procedure that will be followed. And the procedure is he will call the two of them to discuss. Now, on this issue, he's not calling the two of them. And for us, we are not encouraging people to grab land. What we are saying is that in case such thing happen, For me, okay, on my own understanding, I believe that if a thief comes and steal out, grab your land, he should be forcefully ejected from your land. And this issue here is not that these people, they grab the land. The issue is that they bought the land. That is what is being aired out. And everyone sees these people bought the land. Now, what should be done?
Mr. G, that is a very ridiculous statement.
Mr. Please, just a minute, just a second.
Play a video
Mr. G, before I forget, don't believe in anything that politicians tell you, because you're really emphasizing that Ruto told the people that they will negotiate when, when they have disputes of land. It's like you saying that we believe that Raila will win the election. Yeah, and we believe that we have the deep states and we are going to win this thing. Or we believe a politician will tell you we are going to Canaan. Do you believe that we are going to Canaan? Yeah.
What I'm saying, Mzalendo, what I'm saying, we need to agree on one thing. Before you
a video here.
Messi.
Sasa nikisema na and I would like to repeat myself again. Nikisema watu wajenge na wewe ujengi, tunakunyang'anya hiyo shamba for good. Mogi yako wapi? Mogi. Saimo wale ile timu yako ya watu wa survey wa ground yakiwa na vice chairman na Mandevu. Tuanze block 6. Tunaelewana? Zile plots zote azijengwa mtengeneze hiyo list. Hakuna choo, hakuna structure, hata kama ni ya nyasi. Tulisema mtu ajenge, hata kama unaweka miti, ukate miti ile ya msituni hapo usiende kununua. Kwako kama una choka, uwezi kosa panga. Kama hakuna structure umejenga, na sio fence, structure sio fence, hiyo list nipewe. Hizo plots, tutaplot on tarehe 11 mwezi ya 8. Si tuko na general meeting. Hizo ndio za kwanza kupeana. Tuende block 8. Nayo pia munipatie hiyo list. Are we together? Sababu shamba Kenya shamba haina structure, haijajengwa. Utapigana, uwe na title ya chuma, uwe na title ya dhahabu, uwe na title umeweka wapi, utapigana na watu usiku na mchana na mchana. Na ndio tumalize hiyo vita. Kila mtu ajenge kwake. Kama wewe uwezi saidia sisi kumaliza vita kwa kujenga, wewe unapoteza. Uwezi kufanya sisi tupoteze. Enda Mombasa, utakuta ile shamba haina mtu, unakuta iko na ownership zaidi ya 10. Title ni karatasi. Ploti ni kujenga. Usipojenga, shauri yako, utanichukia, unilaani, unifanye vile utanifanya, shauri yako. Si tulisema? Nimesema structure iwe ya miti, iwe wewe umejenga kiota ile ya ndege. Tabu kuniliona mtu fani kwanza pale block 11 ameweka kikingi hivi na cambox na mega steam up. That is development. Yes. Yeah. I would like to be very, very, very serious and categorical. Na nenge ndiamo tabia. Walio umesikia. Usipojenga definitely ujue umepoteza pesa. My brother, for good. Sababu hiyo shamba yako ukipata mtu mwingine yako na certificate na mwingine iko na certificate na mwingine iko na certificate, nani atakuwa mwenyewe? Ni ule yako ndani na amejenga. Na serikali inaangalianga ule majenga. Mbali na hayo tuko na title, tuko na very good case. Kwetu ndio imeonekana tofauti wazi. Wakati askari na hiyo wakora walikuwa wanatembea wakigongea watu, tuliwasimamisha. Hiyo ni kumaanisha nini? We have everything. Msipojenga na vice chairman. Badala nipatie members wangu plot yuko 26. Naweza kuanza hata na hapa 6. Zile zile jengwa. Tafuta money, look for money. Ndio niko kuambia haya occupy this one. Huyo mtu akuje tushitakiane na yeye hapa. Na tuliweka sheria ya kwamba sheria zetu za shamba ni kujenga. Na ile pesa watu wanapeanga sisi ni pesa ya facilitation ya membership. Kama wewe ni member na hutaki kujenga, si unapotea? Funguti. Hakuna tofauti ya kukaa shambani na kukaa river, kukaa Mulolo.
Okay. So Mr. G, unajua Mr. Mburu alizungumzia jambo fulani na hivi kana kwamba ulimlenga katika lugha ya mtaani. Ulimsikiza akisema kwamba sheria, serikali ya Kenya imegawanika kwa vikao vitatu: the judiciary, the executive, judiciary, and the legislature. And there is separation of power. The president might want to do anything, might want to say or do anything, but the law of the other arms of government can have the power to stop him. However, there are things that you've heard, as you have heard the cartels advising people to continue to go and put structures. Now, if you are encouraged to go and put structures, kujenga, wamesema sheria si title deed. Sheria, shamba si title deed. Shamba ni kujenga. That is why you are seeing millions and millions of houses that have been built on the basis that shamba ni kujenga. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you, you must separate what is called compulsory land acquisition. Okay? Compulsory land acquisition, the government can compensate you because the government has identified a piece of land for the common good of the public. Then it will come and say, Bwana G, this piece of land of yours, we have identified and would like to set up an industrial complex here. And for that reason, we ask that we do an evaluation. After doing an evaluation, we will offer you a price. After offering you the price, you will accept. And if you don't accept, we can still proceed to do what we want to do because the land belongs to the government anyways. But you can go to court and contest in terms of the price or the price that you've been awarded. But the government can proceed doing whatever that they want to do. It's called compulsory land acquisition. It is in the Constitution. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you, there is something called adverse possession. Now, adverse possession is a very interesting, and that's what you're trying, that's your argument, that as long as you have adversely acquired land for a consecutive period of 12 years, then you have a right to go to court and ask the court to give you land, because for the last 12 years you have continuously hold that piece of land, or you are in possession of that piece of land, and for that reason you can ask the court to give you or to award you ownership for that piece of land because as squatter. It's called squatter rights. So through adverse possession. Now, if that is what you are asking the government to do, then this is not an initiative of the government. This has to be something that has to be initiated by those who are occupying the land. But again, it might be difficult for you to prove because you have seen Alfred Mutua, who came out and gave a warning and said this land is not for sale. Okay, so which means there was an objection at one point that this land is not for sale, this land is not private, this land is for the is public, and this land belongs for to the government. So you cannot claim, it might be difficult for you to claim under adverse possession. So while it is painful to see such millions and millions of development that has been pumped there being destroyed or demolished, it is worth noting that it is important also to observe the rule of law, that there is a procedure of buying and selling of land in Kenya, there is a procedure of doing a search, which I think it's Nick who took you through that process. That you go and lodge as an interested party, you launch a search. The search will tell you whether the position or the condition of that piece of land. After which, now you will proceed to transfer by showing your agreement, by making sure that the people, they have done the transfer, the sellers and the buyer, there's consent to transfer and things like that. So of which we have not seen that. But what we can see are the cartels who are allocating, even the issue of allocating shares. There is a clear procedure of allocating shares. Allotment letters are allocated, and the government recognizes the allotment letters. So let us not be deceived and blame the government. And that is one thing I wanted to make sure that you understand the process. And Mr. Mburu was very categorical. While you are bent to blame the Ruto government, let us also be fair to understand that the citizens were advised and did not take any advice.
Thank you,
Mr. Can I say something? Can I say something?
For sure.
Yeah. I'm just trying to respond to what Leo and Mr. G said. They were asking why the government did not sit down with these people and have a negotiation to see if these people are gonna be compensated, or they can even pay to continue occupying that land. And I want to say this. It is good to understand that the government is not only dealing with the Mavoko issue. The government is dealing with the entire nation of Kenya, just as the courts. Now, there is what we call precedence. Precedence is where people learn from observation through examples. So if the government of William Ruto is going to sit with the people who have occupied the government land illegally, negotiate with them and compensate them, you will see millions of people whose properties has been demolished before, from 1963 up to now, coming out and saying, you compensated so and so, consider me also. And also, you see people occupying or continuing to encroach on a public land, so that in the event that the law catches on them, they are going to negotiate with the government, and the government is going to compensate them, and the government is going to consider them. So I don't think in law there is that room for people to do what is wrong and wait to be compensated and wait to sit with the government because of precedence. We don't want to see people tomorrow occupying your property. Like now we have properties in Kenya. Sometimes we fear if we will find somebody building there. Because here we are not only dealing with government, we are dealing with the people who think they can grab something which does not belong to them and it becomes theirs or sell to other people. So we don't want to set that precedence. And there is no room, just like you saw, and I said it, when Raila Odinga wanted to construct roads and other infrastructure, he found that in Kenya, people had grabbed a lot of land during the time of Moi. There was no choice. Those houses, they were bigger than what you are talking about. They had to be brought down. So, because of precedence. So, if the government is going to compensate the Mavoko people, the people who lost properties during Raila Odinga time when he was the Minister of Infrastructure and Roads, they are going to come out and say, we also want to be compensated. It cannot happen that way. So, it is good that people do due diligence when they want to buy properties. Don't use shortcuts. Make sure you do, yourself personally, do the search. Follow all the processes. Follow all the procedures. Then after that, you can say, this is the procedures I followed before I acquired this title. But if you skip some procedures, then it is not going to work very well for you when the law will catch up with you. That is what I think about that issue.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we are about to wind up the show. I'll invite Mr. G. You have a right of reply. I think you still want to rebut what Mr. Mburu has said, or Mr. Mzalendo, or what I might have said earlier on. What is it,
Okay.
Mr.
Okay, thank you, Messi. But I think we should not wind up right now, because I wanted us to talk also about this issue of Israel and Palestine, just for some few minutes, because
that's our next take after this.
Okay. Let me rebut on what I wanted to say. In fact, it's not rebutting, but I think I want to put something right, Mr. Mburu. It's not that we are urging people to grab land. No, in fact, we came out strongly and opposed the issue when this old president said that whatever you find somebody grabbing your land and then he build a house, he will call two of you to sit down and talk. We came out strongly and said, no, this cannot happen. For us, what we are doing right now, we are just calling out this double speak of this government. You know, it is very wrong for somebody to come and then he grab your land. Alafu baadaye, you just say that let us sit down and discuss on this issue, and yet the somebody has stolen your land. That one doesn't work. What we are saying is that the government is full of doublespeak. It is the same government who say that we will sit down with the two people, discuss way forward. On the issue of eviction, you have to evict somebody who has stolen your land. This issue of Mavoko, even though there's a clip that Messi has shared, I don't know if there are two clips connected on the Mavoko issue and this the land grabber, ambayo you have shared the clip, because this person has been urging people to go and grab the land. We cannot advocate for such people, because these people are forcing people to build lands, to build houses where people have not built the houses. And this is just grabbing, stealing of the land. We cannot advocate for those such things. In fact, we dispute on them. We just refuse such things. What we are trying to say, Mr. Mburu, is saying that as you, let me just give you as an example, you are the president, and you give orders, and you say that now, because there's some challenges, people are passing through some challenges, and you found somebody has built a house in your land, you will not force this person to come out. We will call you, we sit down and discuss. No, this discussion, connecting to this thing which is happening in Mavoko, for me, I still believe that those people did not steal that land. I think they bought that land, even though there was a billboard which said that this land is not for sale. The billboard was there. And these people use their money to build and to do investment in that place. I think the best way to do, because we see that the same land whereby the houses have been destroyed or they have been evicted, the same land is being taken again for sale. So in that, because of ignorance, I may not use ignorance as the best way. Why can this government, first of all, just call these people? Because they are alluding that they will sell again the land, but they're giving the first priority to these people who were there, whose houses have been destroyed. Why could just these people be called? Okay, ask your question. Ask your question,
yes.
Mr. Mburu.
Mr. G, assuming you are the one that you want to buy property, and you have seen a billboard saying this property is not for sale. You, Mr. G, as Mr. G, because you are saying these people are not ignorant. These people are not fools. But the billboard is there. And it is stating clearly, do not buy this property. It belongs to the public. Will you go ahead and buy, you yourself?
No, I won't go and buy. I cannot go and buy the same land.
Then don't you see those people? There were some people hoodwinking them not to follow the instructions. It's like the Lord is telling you.
Exactly.
There are road signs. In the Lord, there are road signs. And the sign shows you that you should not turn left. What will happen if you turn left? You're going to have collision. And that is exactly what has happened. The government had tried to caution these people, to warn these people, but they decided not to follow the signs.
Thank you, Mr. Mburu. They decided not to follow the signs. But why can't the government, first of all, go for these thieves? Why can't they just go for these thieves, first of all, washikwe, easy, and then they go back to these innocent people. Guru, you know, when somebody just lies to you, I think you are educated enough to know that this person is lying and this person is not lying. On this issue of Mavoko,
I don't think, Mr. G, you've been lied to. No smart person. Everyone has been lied to. All of us, lawyers, doctors, engineers, everybody. There is a saying in my language that says, anyone who is lied to is not is neither small or bigger. So you can be lied to, but I would like us to move to the issue of Israel, and I want to share something here so that we can reflect as we switch to the issue of Israel. I want you to listen carefully to what President Obama said 10 years ago.
But the Palestinian people's right to self-determination, their right to justice, must also be recognized. And put yourself in their shoes. Look at the world through their eyes. It is not fair that a Palestinian child cannot grow up in a state of their own, living their entire lives with the presence of a foreign army that controls the movements, not just of those young people, but their parents, their grandparents, every single day. It's not just when settler violence against Palestinians goes unpunished. It's not right to prevent Palestinians from farming their lands or restricting a student's ability to move around the West Bank or displace Palestinian families from their homes. Neither occupation nor expulsion is the answer. Just as Israelis built a state in their homeland, Palestinians have a right to be a free people in their own land.
Amazing. So,
Barack, welcome to Canada. Mesdames et
sorry about that. I want to. So, Obama said that the Palestinian people have the right, right? And so he says it's not right for the Palestinians to be limited to exercise their rights. So he was very articulate. This is like 10 years ago. And despite the fact that the American government supports Israel in many ways, but the president of the president of United States, Barack Obama, at one point, he was against and he was very articulate and clear on the same issue. What's your take tonight? Do you agree with President Obama tonight that the Palestinian people have the right to occupy their land, to be recognized, and as well as to be, like even gives a scenario and says, put yourself in the Palestinians' shoes and try to see the kind of oppression they have gone through in the foreign army in their land throughout in generation after generation, and every day they are struggling to be heard, but not to be heard, but they are not heard. So I want to start this. Mr. G, you are the one who requested about this, so that we switch to this issue of Israel. What is your take? Do you agree with President Obama as opinion and argument that the Palestinian people have a right to be heard, have a right to be in their land, and they don't deserve to go through what they have gone through generation after generation?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Messi. On this issue of Israel and Palestine, I think this is a big issue, and there's something that people are missing up. They're missing the point on this issue. That's why you see the mixed reaction between people. But I think I would wish that we start with Mburu or Mzalendo to speak on this issue, and then I'll come back, because I may take more than 5 or 10 minutes to explain this thing. I have a lot of issues to speak on this issue, so I may take a lot of time. Just let me allow Mburu or Mzalendo to speak something small, and then I come in.
Mzalendo, you will go first, and then Mburu will follow.
All right. Thank you, Mr. G. mean, the issue, it's unfortunate what is happening in Israel between the Hamas and the Israelis, the Palestinians and the Israelis. I remember that this war has taken so many years. Israel occupied Palestine in 1948, thereabout, and it has gone for quite a while. The issue is very, very sensitive in that Israel also claims that part of Palestine is their holy land, and Israel has occupied East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza, and they build blockades and barricades for people not to move, like Obama was just saying. So the disagreement in borders is one of the issues. Now, them coming together and forming one state is also another difficult part because of the religious doctrines. The Hamas believe that the Jews should be wiped out of the face of the earth. So having that, the only solution, according to me, would be for Palestine and Israel forming one country. I don't know what they'll call it, but that is the only solution that is there. Independent Palestine can also not happen because Israel is occupying some territories in Palestine. So there is religion, there is Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. So the issue is quite complex. Some compromises need to be done from both sides, both the Palestinians and the Israelis. They need to compromise. Otherwise, it is a war that we might not see an end anytime soon. It will definitely escalate because what Hamas did to the Israelis, that was criminal. That was murder. That was direct murder. They were killing babies. They were killing everybody in sight. So that is not acceptable. That is terrorism, and Israel has also a right to defend its own citizens. So they have declared war on Hamas. They have already moved into the ground, trying to combat all the terrorists, as they call them. They said that they will turn Gaza upside down. Yeah, and one of the generals, said that what they are doing. The Israeli general said that what they are doing is that they are facilitating the Hamas to meet their maker. They don't have to judge them right now. Maybe after they have killed them is when they'll face judgment. So I mean, it is brutal, but I'm glad that Hamas released some Americans who were captured, and they have now joined their families. Maybe Mburu has got something to add on what I'm saying, or G, you can come in.
Thank you, Mzalendo. Let me just say something. First of all, it's good for people to know that these are brothers fighting. If you look at the history, the Israelites are the descendants of Isaac, whereas these Arabs, the Palestinians, are the descendants of Ishmael. So these are brothers fighting. And having said that, it's good also to note that there was a time in this world when nobody occupied most of the places. Therefore, everybody has a right to live somewhere. The fact that there are people who feel that the Israelites are not supposed to be where they are, and they feel that if they get a chance, they're going to wipe them away. And that is what the the Arab countries have been saying that those people are not supposed to occupy that part of the land. So I feel that the Israelites have been so much squeezed for a very long time that sometimes, and it's only that this America has been supporting them. Without the Americans supporting them, these Arab countries can really crush the nation of Israel. And what I can say is that because of also what we call precedence in the Bible, anybody who has ever tried to mess up with Israel faces the wrath or the consequences. In the Bible, there is what they used to call the act of herem. The act of herem is whereby when you go to fight or in war with enemies, you don't spare anything. You kill animals, you kill children, you kill women, you kill men, you wipe everything. That is what used to happen in the days of the Bible. So by messing up with Israel, I said they have made a big mistake, because these people were wiping everything. You saw them, they were falling from the sky. Other people were on the ground and they were shooting anything that was moving. And I said, this is a huge mistake they have made, because don't start a war that you cannot sustain. Don't fight with somebody you know this person is stronger than me, because right now we have lost so many of the Hamas soldiers or gun, and they will continue to die. And you have seen this war is making another turn. And if we are not careful, if we don't continue praying, it might turn to be a religious war, because you have seen right now the US has sent the Navy ships, the fighter jets, and it has already sent the soldiers. And you see Iran has said they are going to join the war. Turkey is also trying to join the war. And Russia has already declared that in the event that US is going to support Israel, they have said they are going to support the Palestinians. So you see this war is turning, and it is likely to turn to something very, very bad. So we should continue praying, and also we thank God, because at least this Hamas, they have already released 2 hostages, American hostages. But remember, they still have 200 people from Israel under their custody. So I don't know how it's going to be, but we are hoping that human beings can sit down, negotiate, have a discussion, and see how they're going to solve that issue. But I was watching the videos. I was watching what is going on. I can tell you Gaza will never be the same again. It has almost been wiped out. Those missiles are very strong. You know, the way those houses are falling is like they are made of papers. I have never seen such a thing before. So, Mr. G, maybe you have a lot of things to contribute to this topic.
Mr. G, before you come in, let us just play our bumper. Viewers, you're watching Afrique 24. This is your channel that brings you news every weekend and what is happening in our country and what is happening all over Africa. So please follow us on Facebook, follow us on our YouTube channel. And as Mr. G prepares to come in, let me just play a bumper.
Liberia's Election Commission announced a runoff between President George Weah and former Vice President Boakai on Tuesday. With 98.4% of votes counted, neither candidate had more than 50% required to win the October 10th poll. Weah had 43.79% and Boakai had 43.49%. Arab leaders cancel summit. Biden departs for Israel is planned as France calls for access of humanitarian aid in Gaza. KRA collects Kenya shillings 3.4 billion after waiving tax penalties, targets over Kenya shillings 51 billion by June 2024. The Meru senator criticizes Nakada for classifying Mira as a drug. He claimed Mira as a cash crop that supports many farmers and traders in his region. Moses Kuria wants to introduce fees for services offered at Huduma centers in Kenya. In sports, Harambee Stars settled for a 2-2 draw against Russia in their friendly match played at the Titanic Sports Complex in Antalya, Turkey. 2 first-half goals from Anthony Okumu and Masoud Juma were not enough to grant Kenya the win. For more updates, please subscribe to True Talk TV.
All right, viewers, I mean, you got it right. You follow us on Afrique24. That is where the news is. Follow us on our Facebook page, Afrique24. Please follow us. Give us a like, leave your comments there. And you will be the motivating factor for us to come and discuss African news and Kenyan news. On that note, Mr. G, you can now get to these issues that was really burning, the Israel-Hamas war.
Thank you, Mzalendo and Mburu. The issue has brought up a lot of misreaction, but I think let me start with where you started, Mr. Mzalendo. On the issue of mixing Palestine and Israel and make one nation, I think it will never happen, and it will never happen. It won't happen, and it will never happen. Mburu, you say that it is a religious thing, and I think the people need to sit down and talk. I agree with you. But let us first start from the beginning, where this thing started. I think when we go biblically in Genesis, I think it was in Genesis around 32, chapter 32 there, whereby there is somebody called Jacob, who we are told that he fought with an angel of God. And then after fighting with him, he won. And that is when his name was changed to Israel. By then, Lukuja Piketo Akatwa Musa. And that is the first time the word Israel comes to existence. Now, let's go to where Israel is right now. From that time, we are told there was a lot of calamities. There's a lot of famine. Kulikuwa na drought, sickness. People died. Kulikuwa na anger. And we are told that people of Israel moved from that land because Israel, we are told that Israel, who was Jacob was the son of Isaac, and Isaac was the son of Abraham. And the God came out and said that he's God of in fact say he's a God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And remember, Abraham had a son who called Ishmael. Ishmael came in before even Isaac came in. And Ishmael, I think, alikuja because ni Sarah who played the game, who brought in this game. And he told Abraham that I think God promised us a son, but it has taken a lot of time, a lot of years. We have not received the son. Let's help him to fulfill the dream. And that's why he convinced Abraham to sleep with that woman, the maid. And then they gave birth to Ishmael. After that, it took around 12 years when again God appeared to Sarah and told her that you remember the prophecy that I told you, that one day you will bear a son, and that son will have inheritance from all nations. I think Sarah remembered, and then God told him that day that next year, at a time like this, you will have a son. In fact, Sarah laughed. Alicheka. Wakati alicheka, it came to pass that next year, a time like that, he bought a son who was called Isaac. And Isaac now came and had a son who is called Jacob. And Jacob is the one that the name was changed to Israel. Jacob had also 12 sons. And the 12 sons are the one who came out to be the 12 tribes of Israel. By then, God had brought these people let me not go there first. God has promised these people, the whole nation, that it will be blessed. It will be blessed through this lineage, not from the lineage of Ishmael, although Ishmael was also the son of Abraham. But he said that people of the children of God will be blessed through the lineage of Isaac. Now, when the famine came in, those people migrated from where they were living, which is the land of Israel. They migrated from there and they went to Egypt. And not all of them, but some went to Egypt, and other people went to other countries. But now in Egypt, because I want to move faster, in Egypt, a time came whereby Moses was born. And Moses was a Jew on that lineage. When Moses was born, I will still jump. He came. In fact, he lived in the palace, but he found his way out of the palace because of what he saw his people passing through. Because he came and knew that he was a son of from Jewish land, and Jews were being frustrated by Herod and the king that was by that time in Egypt. Moses decided to come out of that palace, and when he came out of that palace, there's a day when he was looking at, I think it was goat ships. Kwa mlima pale kuna kamiti ambao kalishika moto. Ile miti ilikuwa it was not burning, but it had fire na moshi, na ilikuwa haiungui. Moses decided to go and see what is happening with this thing, because anaona moto, but ile miti ambayo inawaka moto haiungui. He want to know what is happening. Wakati alifika pale, he heard a voice, and God spoke to him and told him, you are coming, you are stepping on the holy ground. Unafaa utoe hizo viatu zako. And there, that's where he was told about the issue of him going to deliver his children of Israel from the captivity to a promised land. Although Moses tried to, alikuwa anasema ana issue, alikuwa anaogopa kwa sababu alikuwa shatoroka from that place. Alikuwa anajua that the king was looking for him. Alikuwa anataka muue for what he did. So Moses alikuwa anajiuliza, how will he come and deliver his people from the captivity ambao wametoka from Egypt? But still God told him that, go, I'll go with you. Alienda. He talked with the people of Israel. They decided to face Herod. They told him that God has sent us. We need to move out of this land to go to a promised land, which is a Canaan. Even though there's some issue na huyo king ambaye alikuwa na issue na Moses, akawa anasumbua, but from that issues ambazo zina happen, we are told that miracles happen. God used Moses to perform miracles, and with those miracles, nani aliamua? The king aliamua ku release watoto wa Israel watoke waende to their promised land. Remember, that promised land is that place the first time walikuwa wamepewa na Mungu kupitia kwa Jacob. Unakumbuka? Now, wakati Moses aliwapeleka kule, I think you know the story, how all happened. Wakafika mpaka kwa sea, Moses akatumia miracle, sea ikafunguka, wakapita on the dry land, wakaenda to the next place, although it took them almost 40 years kufikia pale mahali alikuwa amefika. Now they came to that land. Walipofika pale kwa promised land, in fact hawakwenda na Moses, but walifika pale na Joshua. Moses died on the way. Wakafikishwa pale na Joshua. On that place, we have been told that still Israel had a lot of enemies. The Jewish people walikuwa na a lot of enemies ambao kwa mazunguka, the Arab team ambao kwa mazunguka. So they passed through a lot of things, but I'll jump from that place to around 1880, because hapo ndo mahali sasa issues zinaanzia, ndio tuende kwa ile Holocaust and other things. I'll jump that step. Tutapata another day and then we'll talk about what happened between those years. Let me jump to 1886, from 1880, 1881, 1882 until where we are right now. From 1980, I think that is where the Zionism was born. I think you understand that word Zionism. Those were the Jewish people, the radical youths who are fighting. They're crying that they want now to go back to their land. It was formed, and those people, they wanted to go back to their land, the land of their fathers, the land of Jacob, the land of David, the King David. Now, when they are fighting to go to that land, we are told that most of these people, most of them, some were in Germany and some were in Europe countries. A lot of those people walikuwa wamegawanyika kwa hizo mainchi, but most of them walikuwa in US, they were there, alafu pia in Germany walikuwa. Now in Germany, I think it was in 1930s where Hitler came as a president in Germany, and Hitler had just one role in that place, to destroy Jewish. Why? Because Hitler alisema kuwa these people that control the economy. And again, these people, they were favored with God, and they had a lot of prosperity in everything that they were doing. They could prosper. So Hitler came in and find these people. Na akasema, now that's the time to deal with them, to deal with Egypt, to deal with Jewish. And indeed, he dealt with them. That is where we find this Holocaust will happen hapo. Watu wengi wakauliwa, almost 6 million Jewish, they were killed on that time. Now after hapo, we are told that some waliweza kusucceed, wakapona, wakaepa kutoka Egypt. But while they were in Germany, we are told that they were being moved. See watu walikuwa wanamove wakitaka. No, although some people went, wenyewe wakijitakia ndo walienda Europe, and few of them walirudi Israel, pale Palestine. By that time ilikuwa inaitwa Palestine because that land, after the Jewish coming out of that land, the Philistine who came to be the Palestine, they occupied that land. Na wakaanza kusema hiyo land ni yao. Wakati ule ilifikia pale kwa Holocaust, mali 6 million people wameuliwa, watu wa Jewish, kwa sababu walikuwa wanataka wamalize wote kabisa. Few other people decided that no, we want to go back to our land, which is Israel, the land of Moses, the land of King David. They went back to that place. Walipofika pale, we are being told they found Arabs, the Palestine, they occupying that land. Now wakasema they will stay, wataishi nao. Okay, from the beginning Israel had no issues with the people, with communities ambao kwa naishi nao. So they went to that place, wakaanza kuishi in a small group. In fact, there were around 10% in that place wakaanza kuishi. But the more they waliishi, ndo kukawa na empire, like empire, the Roman Empire was at that place hiyo wakati, na kulikuwa pia na hii British. By that time, in fact, I don't think if it was the empire of Roman first before the British, because the British came in wakati Israel walikuwa maanza sasa kuishi pale mahali, kuishi Egypt, and kuishi Palestine. Wakinunua land, walikuwa wameshapewa that God inaitwangaje, that ile kuambiwa kwa sasa you are free, you can buy land and stay. Walikuwa wananunua shamba pale Palestine. Nakumbuka Palestine were full of corruption. Walikuwa na corrupt people, so they could sell that land they had already occupied, although it was the land of Israel, but walikuwa sha occupy. So wakati the small group came in, walikubaliwa kununua shamba. Waliponunua wakaanza kufanya farming, and the more they bought, the more walianza kuzaana polepole wakienda. Now hapo wakiwa nazaana, kulikuwa na commotion, na nani wakakuja Britain, wakaingilia pale mahali. When Britain came in, they sat with Israel na wakaketi na Palestine, na wakasema we need to find the solution of this issue. To find the solution, tutafanya nini? Britain waliamua, they formed a group, it was a committee, a Pale committee, and they said they will look into the issue. When they looked into the issue, they decided that they will give a land to Israel, which is 20%, around 18 to 20%, they'll give it to Israel. And then 80% itabaki to Palestine. That is what they decided, the British decided. But remember, Palestine walikuwa wanasema hii land ni yao, na Israel walikuwa wanasema hii land ni yao. Israel wakasema, okay, kwa sababu bado watuko wengi, sisi tutakubaliana na issue, but we need to find our own land. But kumbuka still Arabs walikataa tena. The Palestine walikataa, wakasema it can't be. Au waweze kuja wakachukua shamba yetu. Wakakataa kabisa, even they were offered 80%, they refused. Wakati walikataa, that was now on the beginning of the First World War. Britain wakaendelea ku negotiate now. Waka negotiate from nowhere, the World War II ikatokea. When World War II ilitokea, we are being told that the same Arabs walikuwa wamepigana vita ya World War II. They were the same people ambao walikuwa wanadili that issue of Israel and Palestine. Now by that time, Israel walikuwa wameanza kuwa wengi. They ganged up against Britain. Kwa sababu Britain ilikuwa ishaenda sasa upande wa Palestine. Ikawa inasema in a second what Palestine are saying. Wakawa wametoka waachana. Wakati walikuwa wamesema kwa Israel wachukue 20% of that land, Israel walifurahia, na Israel wakawa wana excel under the umbrella of Britain, kwa sababu Britain ilikuwa in our favor as Israel. But mwisho wa World War II, the Britain waliachana na Israel, wakawa wana favor Palestine. Now by the time walikuwa na favor Palestine, we are being told that the Jewish ganged up na wakaanza kufight this Britain. When they fought Britain, Britain waliamua kujitoa. Wakasema sasa hapa sisi hatutaweza. Kumbuka walikuwa wamepigana ile vita ya Second World War na wakawa most of them wamechoka, wameumia nini. Sasa wakawa wanapigwa na Israel wakiwa bombed nini, wakasema no, we cannot continue with this thing. Wacha sisi tutoke, sasa tuwaache nyinyi wawili mudili nayo. Before they left, they handed over this issue to UN, United Nations. Britain wakaenda. Wakati Britain walienda, UN, when they came in, they formed also a committee. Na wakaketi na Israel with the Palestine. Wakasema let's find a solution. Wakasikiza what Israel said, na wakasikiza pia upande wa Palestine. Wakasema now, because Israel alikuwa anasema sisi wakati tulikuwa kule Germany na those other countries, wakati wa Holocaust and every other thing, people were killing us, but the nation were quiet. No one was fighting for them. Hakuna mtu alikuwa anapigania Israel. Watu wanauliwa, but no nation stood up akasema no, what is happening to Israel is wrong. So Israel said that sisi, kwa sababu no one was fighting for us, let us go back to our own land, motherland. We form a country which will be called Israel, so that we can find safety. You know, walienda Palestine kuchukua country yao because they wanted their country just to put us that safety in their own country. At least they can fight as a country, because the other malpopote ambao walikuwa kule kwa the other sides, they are living as minorities, which could not help them. So what happened? The United Nations, after forming that committee, they sat down.
So, G, as you summarize, and so that we can welcome in Simbaneta, that's a great history lesson that you're giving us. So I would like that you summarize, you bring us
I want to summarize
the current, and then you provide us what is the solution that you believe that can resolve the issue of Israel and the Hamas.
Okay, let me finish by talking of what was the decision of UN. The United Nations sat down and decided now, because you are claiming that no one fought for you or no one raised the voice to protect you, now we have understood what you wanted. We are giving you our land. They decided to give Israel 55%. Remember, Britain walikuwa wamepatia Israel 20%. Na Arabs wakakataa, the Palestine wakakataa. Now this time, the United Nations wanapatia Israel 55% of the land. Alafu 55% inapeanwa kwa Palestine. Still Palestine refused. Wakasema no, hii haiwezekani. Na wakasema why should we suffer things ambao hatukuhusika, kwa sababu Palestine they were not used kuwa the Jewish. Wakasema sasa tutakubali hiyo, and their vita ikaanza. Wakati vita ilianza pale, we are being told that Israel walipiga Palestine. Na wakati walipiga, that is when now they occupy more land. Remember, ilikuwa ni 55 na 45. But now Israel wakapiga Palestine, wakachukua 70% of that land. Wakati wachukua 70% of that land, I'm going faster, tutarudi siku nyingine tutongee vizuri. Wakati wachukua 70% of that land, tunaambiwa there's a day ambao Egypt came in, wakawa wanapiga Israel. Na Israel ikawa ina retaliate back. Wakati kwa ina retaliate back, we are being told that the Jordan wakaingilia, wakawa na shoot watoto wa Israel. Israel came to Jordan, ikaambia Jordan, please don't join this war, kwa sababu sisi hatupigani na nyinyi, msitupige. But Jordan could not listen to Israel. Wakaendelea kuwa shoot. What happened? Israel turned back to Jordan. Ikapiga Jordan, na ikapiga nini? Na ikapiga Egypt. Kumbuka nilikuwa sijongelea vile Jordan ilichukua that city, that West Bank, because Jordan came in na ikachukua that West Bank. Na Egypt nayo ilikuwa imechukua Sinai. So the time Israel walipiga Jordan, they captured West Bank. Unaona? Na wakati walichukua West Bank, they came back and akachukua pia Sinai. Na hawakurudisha kwanza by that time. Na wakati hawakurudisha, we are being told at that time between 1948 to around 1970 something there, or 80 something. Jamaa ambao ni Palestine walikuwa as good as dead. Walikuwa hata hawaongei kitu. Yaani walikuwa ni kama ile country kwa kama inaisha kabisa, kwa sababu walikuja kuogopa Israel. Wakati waliogopa Israel, more of people will run away from that country, from Palestine. We are told there's a time that around 700,000 people ran out from Egypt and from Palestine. Now by that time we ran out, watoka pale kwa sababu ya nini ilikuwa imechukuliwa, wakati nini hiyo West Bank ilikuwa imechukuliwa. Now walikuja baadaye wakawa wanasema so tumepigana na nyinyi, tumejaribu kuwapiga lakini mmetushinda, tumejaribu kila kitu mmetushinda, sasa sisi tunataka turudi kwa shamba yetu. Palestine was saying that. Waliposema kwa they want to go back to their land, Israel say hawatakubali Palestine irudi pale. Kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu walikuwa wengi and they knew that wangerudi pale. Remember by that time Israel walikuwa around 650,000 people only, na pale wakati Palestine kwa metoroka, Palestine around 700 people walikuwa shatoroka tayari, na kulikuwa na watu wengine some few of them ambao walikuwa baki pale land. Israel said that you people, we are not allowing you back to this land. You have other states. They had around 23 states, the Arabs, whereby they can go and find refuge. So they could not be allowed to Israel. Na hapo ndo mambo issue hiyo mambo ya nini iliendelea, hiyo mambo ya vita ya Israel na nini na ya Palestine na Israel wameshindwa kupatana mpaka leo, kwa sababu Palestine wanasema kuwa land ni yao, na tukifuata biblically utapata kuwa land it was for Israel, lakini ya jamaa alichukua kwa sababu those issue ambazo zili happen pale. Because Messi wants me to finish aruhusu nini Simba Kenya. I think this issue, even ukienda kwa Biblia utapata kuwa it is a prophecy. Oh, sorry, I have a call. Maybe allow Simba Natanya to speak and then I'll come back and conclude this thing.
Okay, sounds good. Simba Netaya. So,
yes.
Welcome, Mr. Simba.
Yes.
It has been a while before we see your face. The only camera is facing your wall.
Don't mind. Bora unaweza pata sauti, I hope ni vizuri.
Is it
nafikiria sasa unaweza niona vizuri.
Bwana, sasa hata umekuwa mweusi kunishinda. But nevertheless, go ahead. Your lighting needs to be done well. So go ahead, sir. How are you?
Yeah, yes, niko salama kabisa, sina neno.
Yes.
Nafikiria muda umeenda sana mpaka sasa tumekuja kuunganishwa tena na vita.
Karibu sana. We would like to let you know that if you want to get notifications, subscribe, join our Facebook, like, and give us a feedback. And Simbaneta, I know it's been a while before we had a session like this, but the fact that you came in and you came in a little late, I'll give you a little bit of latitude to speak on a few issues alongside this matter of Israel. That we were speaking about the issue of Mavoko land acquisition by people who claim to have bought land that belongs to the government. So you can briefly pass by in summary and give your views on the same. Simbaneta ya kwako.
Asante sana, lakini jambo kama nitaenda in summary. Kwanza kabisa, unajua shida yenye tuko nayo kubwa kabisa katika nchi yetu ni ile kwamba watu ambao wananunua mashamba na especially watu ambao hujipata katika shida, wengi wao huwa hawana habari. Lakini ni kitu ambacho tungehimiza serikali ili iangalie sana kwamba tuwe na kitu yenye inaitwa Central Registry ya lands, ambapo from anywhere unaweza kuwa na njia ya kuthibitisha kwamba shamba yenye, kwa sababu especially watu ambao ni wa Kenya ambao ni wengi ambao hununua hizi properties wanasinunua wakiwa mbali na nyumbani, na uingia katika huo mtego wakiwa hawana habari, kwa sababu most of them huwa wanatumia friends and relatives. At the end of the day, mtu unakuja kupata kwamba kitu yenye ulikuwa unafanya na umeweka pesa zako ni kitu chenye hakipo. So kukiwa na hiyo Central Registry inakuwa rahisi kwa mtu hata through a mobile phone. Kunaweza kuwa na app ya lands, kama una search land unaweza ingia something like e-Citizen. Wakati unataka kufanya application ya kitu unaingia one on one, unapata kwamba kitu yenye ulikuwa unatafuta ni kitu ambayo umetoka kwa website ya government. Hiyo ndio shida kubwa yenye tuko nayo. Unapata kwamba mtu ameacquire property, ametumia either loan ama amespend pesa zake zote pale, na at the end of the day unakuja kupata kitu kama chenye tunaona si vizuri. And in cases like those, mahali ambapo unapata kuna any transaction ambayo mtu either kama hakujua ama alikuwa anajua, lakini amepata document yenye ni legal kutoka kwa government, nafikiria government inafaa kuchukua responsibility na kukompensate huyo mtu, kwa sababu already huyo mtu tayari ako na document ya government, sio eti hakuwa anajua kabisa. Anyway, hiyo ni jambo moja ambalo is already out, is gone out. No, sorry. So ni jambo ambalo linaonekana kwamba kuna gap kubwa sana ambayo inatakiwa iangaliwe na watu waone jinsi ya kurekebisha. Swala la ardhi nchini Kenya ni jambo kubwa sana. Kuunganisha na swala hilo ni swala la Wapalestina na Waisraeli. Kwanza sisi tuko na Waarabu katika mji wa Mombasa ambao ni almost a strip of land kama hiyo ya Gaza yenye inapiganiwa. Kuna siku wa Kenya umesikia wakisema Waarabu waondoke. So if we go to the history side, I think we will be wrong to make a decision now kuhusu kesi yenye inaendelea ya Wapalestina na Waisraeli. Lakini swala kubwa ambalo linajitokesha katika swala hilo ni kwamba unapata kwamba mambo ambayo yanafanyika ni ya kijambazi mengi yao, kwa sababu katika utawala wa Gaza uko chini ya Hamas ambalo ni kundi haramu ambalo hutumia mahandaki ambayo yako chini ya ardhi kufanya ugaidi, kufanya ulanguzi na biashara haramu. Hili ni swala ambalo ndio swala nyeti sana, kwa sababu tarehe 7 mwezi wa 10 walishambulia Israeli wakafanya ugaidi. So mimi kwa ufupi, kwa sababu nimejaribu kufuatilia kidogo, na swala ambalo linatakiwa kufanyika ni Gaza iwe declared independent state, lakini administration iwe kutoka Israel. Period, na hiyo issue itakuwa imeisha hivyo. Thank you.
Asante sana Bwana Simbaneta. Kuna jambo ambalo umelizungumzia, pengine ningependa kukufahamisha kwamba lile pendekezo umeweka kwamba serikali ya Kenya iwe na njia ya kiteknolojia ya kuangalia mambo ya mashamba. Ningependa kukufahamisha kwamba tayari serikali ya Kenya iko na mambo ama jinsi ya kuidhinisha ama kuhakikisha kwamba unalotafuta katika kuangalia property fulani lililo eneo fulani, haswa mashamba ambayo yako katika eneo la Nairobi. Hapo serikali yetu tayari imezungumzia ama imezingatia na kuchukua hatua na kutengeneza application ambayo inaitwa Ardhi Sasa, ambayo ukiingia pale unaweza ukafanya search, unaweza ukaangalia the status of your property na ukaona ni nani ambaye anamiliki hii property, na ukaona ambayo jinsi ambavyo survey ilifanywa na ilifanywa na nani na vitu vinginevyo ambavyo unaweza ukaona katika lile shamba. Na pia hiyo inakuruhusu kama uko na shamba lako kulingana ama within Nairobi, unaweza ukaliona unaweza ukaliona pale, na ukiliona unaweza ukaona hata measurements, na pia ukaiona hadi shape ya shamba yako jinsi ilivyo. Kwa hivyo serikali yetu ya sasa ama iliyotoka ilifanya jitihada nzuri ya kuhakikisha kwamba wamedigitalize mambo ya mashamba kwa aswa Nairobi. Najua hii haijaenda kwa makaunti zingine kama Ngong, Kajiado ama Kitengela I think na kaunti zingine, lakini Nairobi unaweza ukaona shamba lako ama nyumba yako ama property ukienda pale katika ardhi sasa. Kwa hivyo hilo pendekezo ambalo umelitoa Bwana Simbaneta, tayari serikali iko katika mipangilio ama harakati ya kuhakikisha kwamba imeidhinisha ama imehalalisha mashamba kuwekwa katika jinsi iliyo rahisi sana na popote ulipo, ili unapotafuta ukaweza kuiona. Kwa hivyo, na hiyo ni pongezi na hatua nzuri kwa serikali yetu, na sio serikali ya Ruto pengine, pali ni serikali ya Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta ama ya Kibaki. Kwa hivyo ningependa kusonga, naona kama Niki Mzalendo, Jeff ama Bwana G, kama hamna la kuongezea, naomba tu.
No, wacha nimalizie. Mr. Messi, nilikuwa sijamaliza. Can let me summarize what I was saying.
Haya, una dakika tatu.
Dakika tatu haitatosha. Wacha tu nipate dakika 4-5.
Mkutasari wa.
Naenda haraka sana. Yeah, naenda haraka sana. Although I think we should plan for a time and then I give people history of what happened, ndio wakuja waelewe vizuri, kwa sababu hii mambo ya kwenda kwa haraka kwa muktasari watu wengine hawezi kosa wanaweza kosa kuelewa.
Kesho tupo. Kesho jioni.
What I was trying to say.
Yeah.
What I was trying to say ni pale, unakumbuka pale nilikuwa naongelea kuhusu wakati Jordan, it was around 1967 when Jordan, hapo ndo wakati Egypt waliamua kuvamia Israel, and then Jordan came in. Wakati Israel wakawa wanaambia Jordan kwa please don't join this war, kwa sababu sisi hatupigani na nyinyi, na Jordan hawakusikia. Wakati wa Jordan hawakusikia, Israel retaliated na wakapiga Jordan na wakanyang'anya that city called West Bank, na Egypt pia wakapigwa wakanyang'anya that Sinai. Sasa scholars wanasema kuwa the problem started where West Bank ilichukuliwa. Hapo ndo mali shida ilianzia. Why? Kwa sababu wakati Israel walikuwa wamepiga our Palestine some years back, those people walikuja wakaogopa Israel, na wakati waliogopa Israel hawakuwa wanaongea anything tena. In fact walikuwa wanaomba Israel, wakasema let us come back to our land. Unakumbuka that 700 people walitoroka from Gaza, from Gaza, wakaenda wakakimbia war, wakisema wanaogopa kufa. Na remember, si watu walikimbia tu kwa sababu ya war. Some of them pia walikuwa advised by their leaders, wakasema kuwa because of this war, ninyi Palestine tokeni, kujeni kwa hizi zingine kama refugee, wakati war itaisha mtarudi back. So more than 700 people walitoroka. Wakati those people walitoroka, Egypt ilikataa kuwaambia, the Israelites walikataa kuwaruhusu kukuja tena kwa that land ambayo ilikuwa ni West Bank na Gaza. So wakati walikataa, nakumbuka between 1948 and 1967 hapo Israel Palestine walikuwa muogopa, walikuwa naomba warudi kwa sababu ilikuwa ni kama as good as dead. Hiyo in fact hakuna na vita sana. Now from that time Israel walikataa kuwa hawarudi. That was now in around 1967. That is when the Palestine walikuja hiyo na ile akili kuwa they also need their land, they need their city, they need their country now. Sasa wakati wasema they need their country, sasa ndo wakaanza hii mambo ya kurudi. Sasa ni kama sasa ni kama walipofuka wakati Israel walikatalia that place West Bank. Hapo ndo wakati ambao Palestine sasa walipofuka kabisa, ikasa ni vita. They want to eliminate Israel, hawataki majewish kabisa, na wakawa wanaungana pia na these other countries, the 23 states, Arab states ambao wanazunguka. I want to summarize nikisema kuwa scholars wanasema kuwa Israel wangepiga those guys na wakarudisha, wakati walipiga capture the West Bank and those other cities, but they are saying that ingekuwa vizuri those guys wangewapiga lakini wangewarudishia that city, kwa sababu jamaa kwa tayari kuwa subdued, kwa shaogopa hiyo, wange capture that city, wangewarudishia, alafu wakabaki na ile place ambayo alikuwa nayo, hivi itaingekuwa. But remember, this war, it is a prophecy from the Bible and from God himself. So vitu zingine obviously ita happen tu mpaka hiyo kitu iendelee. On my views, on this issue. I think these people ambao ni Hamas, kwa sababu Hamas tunaiona from Genesis, tukisoma kwa Biblia, from Genesis it is where the word zinaanza kuonekana, but the group inaonekana kama a violent group. It is an Al-Shabaab group. It is a group ambao ni wakora, majambazi, wauaji. Look at what happened wakati wanavamia Israel last week. Waliovamia wakati wa Sabbath on Saturday. Nakumbuka that was not the first war. Wanavamiwa bila kujua Israel, bila kujua. There's another war there's another group ambayo ilivamia Israel. It was some 50 years back. The same day, the same time. Sijui kama nakumbuka, kama maybe mlisikia hiyo story. There's a group ambayo ilivamia Israel walikuwa wana celebrate hiyo nini yao. They were celebrating their festival. Yes, there's something you're playing. There's something you're playing.
Endelea tu.
Yeah,
Nilikuwa nataka our viewers to read as you speak. What is the President Obama's views as you speak?
Yeah, wakati walivamiwa pia there's some time ambao a group iliwavamia around 50 years back. Na ilikuwa exact time wakati ule ambao Israel walikuwa hawajui, na hiyo group inaitwa Yom Kippur. Iliwavamia 50 years back.
Hiyo ilikuwa inaitwa Yom Kippur War.
Yeah. Iliwavamia pia Israel, hawakuwa intelligence yao haikujua, but wakavamiwa hivyo, but still Israel came out victors. Now to my conclusion, because nataka nimalize this issue. In fact, some people walikuwa na connect na USA kwa sababu wakati Obama alikuwa, kuna some amount of money, billions of money ambao wanapeleka pale Gaza kusaidia wale watu wa Gaza, na huwa wanapitishia kwa hii country inaitwa Iran. Most of the time Iran has been supporting Hamas. Wakati wanatuma pesa iende isaidie wale watu wa Gaza ama wale watu wa Hamas wanatumia hiyo pesa kununua bombs, wakaenda kubomb Israel. Wanatumia that money to buy equipment to fight Israel. So even this Obama alikuwa mentioned in that group, alikuwa pia anahusika kusaidia hawa wakora, although unknowingly hakuwa anajua. When the former president of the United States came in, McDonald's, alicut short hiyo mambo ya msaada, hakuwa anasaidia this country kupatiana hizo billions of money, but still when Biden came in akarestore tena, akaanza kuwasaidia. Dazo unapata kuna story kwenye eneo kuwa Amerika pia imehusika kwa watu kupiga Israel, but it's not true. But ni kwa sababu hiyo msaada ambao wanatumia walikuwa wanapita kando, wananunua bombs, wanakuja kuwashoot. But my conclusion kabisa on this issue, I think tukisoma Biblia, because most of us are Christian, utapata kuwa it is a prophecy that these people should be destroyed kabisa. For Israel to have peace, the Hamas group should be destroyed. As much as we are not advocating for war and killings and anything, kwa sababu tunaona kitu inaendelea, watu wanaumia sana. Hata juzi kuna hospitali imebomolewa, although they are saying that it is Israel who bombed it, but Israel wamesema sisi ni wale Hamas, and I believe it is Hamas themselves, kwa sababu Hamas wanataka kupaka picha mbaya kwa Israel so that Israel ionekane kuwa na watu wabaya. Inaweza kuwa hata ni Hamas ambao alipiga hiyo bomu kwa Israel, yani kwa hiyo hospitali ya Gaza, ndio wachukulie kwa makosa. My final word ni kuwa I think all the group of terrorists should be destroyed. All the group of terrorists should be killed. Wauliwe kabisa. That's when tutapata peace. Back to you.
Asante sana.
But the Palestinian people's right to self-determination, their right to justice, must also be recognized. And put yourself in their shoes. Look at the world through their eyes. It is not fair that a Palestinian child cannot grow up in a state of their own, living their entire lives with the presence of a foreign army that controls the movements, not just of those young people, but their parents, their grandparents, every single day. It's not just when settler violence against Palestinians goes unpunished. It's not right to prevent Palestinians from farming their lands or restricting a student's ability to move around the West Bank or displace Palestinian families from their homes. Neither occupation nor expulsion is the answer. Just as Israelis built a state in their homeland, Palestinians have a right to be a free people in their own land.
Amazing. So this is Afric TV, and we have had a good engagement. And Mr. G, you are a very good history teacher, and we would like to continue with this kind of engagement so that our viewers can also have an understanding. Although next time we would encourage you to come with a Quran, you come with the Bible, so that you don't have a biased view from the biblical standpoint, so that you could also see what the Quran says, as well as other books, other religious books, so that we can all educate those who stand for the Palestinian and those who are supporting the Israelis, so that they can have a clear and to make an informed choice. So, Mr. Mzalendo, as we wind up, I want to give each of you 3 minutes to make their closing remarks as we wait again to come back on air at around same time like today. Just subscribe, like, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe so that you can get notification, because Afric TV is your #1 channel, the only TV station that unravels the unraveled news across Africa. Africa, the cradle of humanity. So, Mr. Msalendo, what is your take? What is your closing remarks as we wind up?
Well, I think we are winding up on the issue of Israel. I want to advocate for peace because most of the Arab countries have tried to attack Israel for a very long time, and Israel has a very strong army. It could resist in 1973. That is when you are when Mr. G, you are referring to the Yom Kippur War between Israel and the Arab nation. That war brought in Egypt, Syria. They all attacked Israel simultaneously. And remember, the Israelis were celebrating an holiday, so the army was caught off guard. But again, they resisted these armies and they drove the Egyptians away. That led to what we call there was an agreement between Egypt and Israel in 1979. I can't remember what agreement it was, but it is there. In 1979, there was an agreement between Israel and Egypt. So the Arab nations have always seen Israel as an enemy. Now, for Israel, Palestinians were actually driven out of their land by the Israelis in 1946. That is the land that they are claiming, and they want their homes back. It's just the same way we are talking about the evictions that has just happened in Mavoko. So the politicians want their homes back, and they want to occupy territory that Israel believes are biblical. And Palestinians also believe that that is also their land. So there's a tussle that will go on for a very, very long time. I think if Israel can defend itself, but there should be a lasting solution for the people of Palestine and the people of Israel. Because in the midst of this war, their children were dying, as you can see from the clips in the news. There are so many innocent children who are dying because of this war. This war is very religious, very, very religious, and it will probably go on for a very long time. So many treaties have been signed, but to no avail. I think Trump signed the last one called the Abraham Accord. So the Abraham Accord was signed, and there was a bit of peace in the Middle East. But again, this is something that I see going on for some time. But we have done almost I don't know how many hours into the show, Mise, I think for me, I think I need to retire right now. I need to retire. It's almost 4 a.m. here in Virginia. I want to thank you, Mr. for being a perfect host for tonight. Mr. G, kama kawaida, umewakilisha vizuri watu wa pwani. Asante sana. Sibanetaya, although you came late, we always love your wisdom in this particular show. And Jeffrey Mburu, tunakuona unalala, sisi pia tunataka kwenda kulala saa hii. Mr. G, najua umeamka, but again, today in the evening, I hope we'll meet again, Mr. G, so that we deliberate on so many issues that we have not discussed. We have not discussed the issue of Sabina Chege and Wetangula. There's a tussle that is going on there that we need to do a bit of research on it. The court just threw out Sabina Chege's appeal, and that means that that seat for, I don't know whether she's the deputy whip, should go back to Azimio. So that is some of the issues making the headlines, and of course our politics kama kawaida, politics ya Azimio na Kenya Kwanza. Nani Mr. G, kuja utuambie leo jioni mahali mmefikisha kwa ile meza ya kugawana keki kati ya Azimio na Kenya Kwanza, wakati wa Kenya wengine wanaangalia vigogo wanagawana maviti. So wacha jioni uje utuambie.
Asante Nick. Simbanetaya, your final remarks as we wind up.
Asante sana bana Mzalendo. Kumalizia, nafikiria mimi nitaongea mambo mawili kuhusu mbunge mmoja ambaye ameongelea mambo ya ukabila sana kwa hiyo shamba ya Mavoko, ambaye ni mbunge wa Kitui East. I think this guy mwenye alikuwa involved tena kwa mambo ya KPLC the other time. This UDA member of parliament ni mtu ambaye ako arrogant. That's one. Kwa sababu hiyo shamba for one, watu walikuwa duped kuinunua. People have to look jinsi ya kusolve issues ambazo zenye zimepata mtu, and especially akiwa innocent. Lakini jambo ambalo nilisikia akisema eti Wakikuyu wamenunua sijui ni 40%, Wakisii 40%, sijui Kamba 10%. It's very illusional for any elected member of parliament wakati anaonekana akitumia ukabila kutatua shida. And I think this member of parliament has to be called out by his character, regardless of the position ama powers zenye ako nazo, kwa sababu ameonekana akitumia mahali kuna msoso all the time kuflex his muscle through the party. I don't know. Lakini hilo ni jambo moja tu ambalo mimi sikuliona kama ni njia mzuri, kwa sababu if we go that way, kwamba hapo ni Machakos, lakini watu ambao wamenunua na pesa zao, sio eti walikuwa allocated, they bought that land. Hata kama ni illegal waliinunua, sio kutumia kabila ni kama kufanya incitement in already kwa land yenye iko na issue. Hiyo ndio siasa yenye tunakuanga nayo na tunataka. Lakini anyway, mimi kitu yenye nilikuwa nataka nifunze kuhusu mambo ya Israel na Palestine, Gaza is declared as a independent state within that territory, na iwe na its administration yenye itakuwa independent ku govern mambo as a state. Hayo ndio ningeongelea, lakini kwa muda wenye tutakuwa tunangojea show tena kurudi, nitasema asante sana.
Haya, asante sana Bwana Jeff Mburu, asante sana Bwana Simbanetaya. Always join us, Jeff. We have Jeffrey here and Jeff here, both of them, G and J. Mr. Jeff Mburu, nafikiri umeingia katika hali ya kutaka kulala. Hebu toa maoni yako ya mwisho.
Kabisa, hata sikujua namna gani Sikuwa nadhani ati imefungulia video pande hiyo, ulikuwa unaniona. Sikuwa najua. Lakini
hata hivi sasa naona ukisinzia.
Lakini nashukuru sana kwa wakati tumekuwa pamoja. Tumeongea mambo mengi, tumeweza kufahamishana na ni jambo muhimu sana. Kwa hivyo nawahimiza wasikizaji wetu wanaotutazama wakaweze kuingia wakati kama ambao tulianza, na tutaendelea vyema. Sitaongea mengi, ninataka kusema asante sana kwa Africa 24, asante sana kwa Mutembei TV kwa sababu ya sisi zote kuweza kufanya hii show pamoja. Nashukuru sana.
Asante sana. Sijui kama kuna mtu ambaye nimemfungia. Kama kuna mtu nimemfungia. Mr. G, la mwisho naona kama unainua mkono. Sasa
yeah.
Sema basi.
Just kumaliza tu. There's something ambao nani yako anasema, mzalendo kwa anasema on the issue of Israel and the Palestine agreement ya Egypt they came back na waka make peace na Palestine na Israel, and in fact Sinai was returned to them, ikarudishiwa Sinai, but the problem is just on that West Bank and the Gaza area whereby these people want to have their state there. Na sijui kama itakuwa possible kwa sababu Israel by that time walichukua hiyo West Bank, there was an agreement on the war. Wakati Jordan alikuwa anakuja ile war ambayo inaitwa 6 days, sijui kama nakumbuka, there's a war ambayo ilikuwa na 6 days something. Hapo ndo wakati ambao Egypt walikuja kaanza kupiga Israel, wanapata pia Jordan wanakuja, but Jordan came in not that they wanted to fight Israel. Jordan came in kwa sababu walikuwa hawataki kuwa karibu na Palestine. They came in that wana support Israel, but they preferred Israel to be their neighbors, not Palestine. But the main agenda was to take that land, that West Bank. That was the main agenda ya Jordan kuja kwa hiyo vita kwanza kupigana. But when they took back, wakakuja wakajisahau, they started again beating Israel, na Israel ikawanyang'anya. Okay, my last remark, I think we'll come back later tomorrow. Tuongelee hiyo mambo ambayo amesema mzalendo kuhusiana na mambo ya Sabina Chege na hiyo minority leader. Although even hata tu pia wewe ukiangalia just naturally, si lazima mtu ende shuleni ndaone hii issue. This is a person ambaye alikuwa nominated by Azimio na akapewa hiyo kiti, hakupigiwa kura. He was favored by nomination. Na from that place anapewa hiyo kiti, alikuja akatoka akaanza kupinga Azimio. Anapinga Azimio na sasa anapata favors from Azimio kama the minority pale kwa whip, which means kama wewe umeamua unataka kufanya kazi na hawa watu, the best thing can do ni ujiuzuru, utoke pale, wacha hawa jigavana wenyewe, kwa sababu umesema huwezi kufanya kazi nao. Why is it that yeye anafanya kazi na Ruto but still anakatalia kwa ile kiti ambayo ni Azimio? Angekuwa mtu ambaye ana akili na mtu mzuri angeachana na hiyo kiti, but still anakatalia pale. Na tunapata pia the speaker ambaye anafaa awe katikati, amelalia side yake, anamsimamia somebody ambaye amekataa our ideology, he doesn't believe in us, endelee kuwa our leader. How does that thing work? That thing does not work. Thank you, Mr. Nise, and back to you.
Liberia's Election Commission announced a runoff between President George Weah and former Vice President Boakai on Tuesday. With 98.4% of votes counted, neither candidate had more than 50% required to win the October 10th poll. Weah had 43.79% and Boakai had 43.49%. Arab leaders cancel summit. Biden departs for Israel is planned as France calls for access of humanitarian aid in Gaza. KRA collects Kenya shillings 3.4 billion after waiving tax penalties, targets over Kenya shillings 51 billion by June 2024. The Meru senator criticizes Nakada for classifying Mira as a drug. He claimed Mira is a cash crop that supports many farmers and traders in his region. Moses Kuria wants to introduce fees for services offered at Huduma centers in Kenya. In sports, Harambee Stars settled for a 2-2 draw against Russia in their friendly match played at the Titanic Sports Complex in Antalya, Turkey. 2 first-half goals from Anthony Okumu and Masoud Juma were not enough to grant Kenya the win. For more updates, please subscribe to True Talk TV.
Thank you, viewers. We would like to thank you for coming in and tuning in and being with us, staying with us until we have finished. So,
Mister, there's something Nani want to speak. Jeff, just give Jeff some 1 minute. Give Jeff a minute, yeah. Give him a minute.
This we will continue with this show at the end of this today. We are coming back again, tuning in. So stay with us. Subscribe. Go to YouTube. Subscribe. Go to our page. Like, and we will be happy to host you. And thank you so much. And we will share the link again this evening. And the show ends now.
Allow